Whether they were picking my cartridges or whoever cartridges, I don't know. That's not my business.
Counsel for accused number 5, Advocate Timothy Chawuke, interjected.
These are not comments that we can expect to be used in a courtroom. He must be one to respect learned colleagues.
Counsel for accused 3 and 4, Advocate Annelien van der Heewe, also complained.
Your Lordship would have noticed the manner in which this witness keeps on answering questions. He does not like to be confronted with evidence, and the record will speak for itself.
Judge Musa ultimately ruled the words themselves were not derogatory. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
Former Deputy Prosecutions Boss Anton du Plessis says the onslaught faced by the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption is part of the teething problems a new institution will inevitably go through. He says the recent appointment of an IDEC oversight judge is one such mechanism that will help strengthen the anti-corruption busting agency. Du Plessis was speaking at the Cape Town Press Club yesterday. Lindsay Dentlinka was there.
As the right hand of former National Prosecuting Authority head Shamila Batoy, Anton du Plessis was part of the leadership that fought for the Investigative Directorate to become an independent entity within the NPA. But barely 2 years into its establishment, and its head, Andrea Johnson, is being accused of misconduct and facing the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry to answer to these allegations. While du Plessis is loath to comment on the specifics, he's still giving the IDEC the benefit of the doubt. He says while the Madlanga Commission still needs to make findings on whether individuals are compromised, it's inevitable that new institutions like the IDEC will face adversity as they establish themselves.
I still believe IDEC is a very important step in the right direction.
Du Plessis says South Africa's democratic institutions are still in their infancy and they require more investment to build them up rather than to break them down. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
The British man accused of killing his wife and 2 children is expected to return in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court as South Africa prepares his extradition proceedings to the UK. Ndodana Chuma is wanted by British authorities in connection with the murder of his family at their home in Bedfordshire earlier this month. He was arrested in Johannesburg recently with the assistance of Interpol after allegedly fleeing the UK days before the bodies were discovered. Mongezi Koko reports.
Ndodana Chuma remains in custody on a South African charge of possessing an unlicensed firearm, which police allege was purchased in Gauteng. The murder allegations will be dealt with through a separate extradition process, which is expected to begin once the United Kingdom submits a formal request for his return. The court will then determine whether Chuma can legally be handed over to British authorities to face 3 murder charges. Detectives in the UK say their investigation is continuing with the assistance of Interpol, South African Police and the UK's National Crime Agency. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
And a British man accused of murdering veteran right-wing ex-MP Anne Widdecombe, allegedly hitting her 21 times with a hammer, has been kept in custody. 28-year-old Joshua Kirby appeared in the Westminster Magistrates Court yesterday, speaking only to confirm his name, date of birth and address during the short hearing. He later made a second appearance at the Old Bailey Crown Court, where the most serious cases are heard, and a provisional trial date of June 8th next year was set. Police arrested him earlier this month on suspicion of murder, 2 days after 78-year-old Widdecombe, a spokesperson for the Hard Right Reform UK Party and a former Conservative minister, was found dead at her home in the southwest of England. Head of National Counter-Terrorism Policing, Assistant Commissioner Lawrence Taylor, says they are not looking for any other suspects.
It remains the case that we are not looking for anyone else in connection with this incident. I know there has been significant interest in this case, and rightly so. I want to make it very clear that our investigation into this individual, determining his motivations and any wider activity he may have been involved in, is continuing.
Gold is trading at $4,132.44 an ounce. The rand is at 16.46 to the dollar, 22.03 to the pound, 18.78 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $92.33 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Mike 1 North, that's between Corlett Drive and the Grayston Drive off-ramp. There's an accident reported on Greyston Drive off-ramp right after the M1. Please be on the lookout there while traveling on the M1 South. Delays between Marlborough Drive and Corlett Drive.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 22 and 24 degrees. The top story in EW in this hour, the defense is expected to continue cross-examining the state's first witness in the attempted murder trial of alleged crime figure Vismusi Katmatlala and his 4 co-accused.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you so much for being with us here on 702. I hope you're good this morning and I hope your day is going well so far. 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. So Andrea Johnson, the head of IDEC, is back at this Madlanga Commission. I nearly said the State Capture Commission. But she's back at the Madlanga Commission this morning. And we're going to take you there live, probably from... I'll see what's happening from 9:30. I'll get the producers to listen. And if there's something really compelling and interesting, we'll take you there live. Otherwise, after the news at 10 o'clock, we'll dedicate about 25 minutes to take you there live. Because yesterday, she refused to answer questions about the allegation against her that she had sent Khan information about a complaint against him, even before the police got a statement from Khan himself. And Andrea Johnson apparently is the one who sent him through a third party the complainant's information or information about the docket. So she refused to answer those questions because apparently the NPA is still deciding whether there must be prosecution. Someone has made a complaint and it's a criminal complaint, so the NPA will decide whether or not she'll be charged. I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me see, because I got information this morning about that matter. Apparently, the NPA received a docket on the 9th of July 2026 and they've issued further investigation into the matter. This is into the allegations against IDEC head Andrea Johnson. So the docket apparently is back with the police for further investigation. And that's precisely why Andrea Johnson didn't want to touch on matters involving this complaint or allegation against her. She says, I don't want to incriminate myself. And that's why she invoked Section 35 of the Constitution, because she can do that. But that also tells us a lot. It does, doesn't it? Because whatever you tell the commission, isn't it exactly the same thing you're likely to share with the investigators? That's why yesterday, Advocate Mahlapesello said, it's either you have sent the information about a docket to Khan or not. And she can't really do that, say yes or no, because she doesn't really know also how much evidence the commission has. Because remember, the commission, they've got text messages probably that they're going to use of Khan And what if in those text messages, this is something that was communicated between her and General Khan? So even though she declined to answer questions related to the allegation against her, the commissioners and the evidence leader, I suspect, are going to push through this morning with those questions. But here's what interested me yesterday. They asked her about the relationship that she has with General Khan. Do they still have a relationship? When last did they talk? This is what was her response.
Well, what is the relevance of that matter to the change in your relationship with General Khan?
Here I get to engage a victim who's lost his father and his brother in a very violent way.
Yes.
It is very difficult, commissioners, when you are sitting with a child who is now parentless and brotherless. He is raw of emotion sitting in front of you. But it's not just the emotion. It is the complaint about the police not doing their work. And he sat there hoping that we were able to help him. And it was unfortunate. It is not in our mandate. But it touched me in a different way, in a very humane way. And it made what he was saying more real. I wasn't reading this in papers. I wasn't hearing stories. I was hearing from a child. Well, he's a young man, but I was hearing this from a child. And there is no way when you have that engagement that you are able to just shut it down and, okay, this is what you go and do, and then you just carry on. It had an impact. And I think it was for those reasons. It really had a humane impact that I was unable to assist him. And the allegation he made was very serious. And so he was accompanied by a friend, and I told him and the friend they would definitely have to take this up with the head of detectives at the time.
So then I understand, just to wrap up, that your relationship with General Khan was adversely influenced by the allegations made to you as regards his alleged involvement by Mr. Murray. That's what altered the course of your relationship.
Yes. Okay. Because he was explicit about where he felt Mr. Khan was involved and persons he was involved with. It's names I'm prepared to write, but he made very pertinent referrals.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crucial, and I want us to try and connect the dots, as we always do. So, what we know now from Andrea Johnson is that she started walking away from the relationship she has with General Firoz Khan after she had a meeting with a child or someone related to the liquidators who were murdered, Cloete and Thomas Murray. Ne? So stay with me. So that's why she decided, I am actually going to pull off here and pull away from the relationship, because there are reports that linked Firoz Khan to people who are connected to the Murray murders. So Thomas and Cloete Murray were father and son liquidators who were shot dead on the N1 in March 2023. And the Murray family has long raised concerns about how police neglected critical evidence and the interviewing of crucial witnesses on the case. Now, that's the first part. That's Andrea Johnson saying, I pulled off. Why would Andrea Johnson pull off if she is not convinced that Firoz Khan is involved? I mean, if I find out something about a friend of mine or an associate of mine, and I'm not convinced and I don't have enough evidence that they're involved in that thing or they are found guilty of what they're accused of, what I want to do is I want to give them a call and find out, hey, there are these reports or these allegations against you. What's going on, right? She decides to pull off because clearly there was something that convinced her that General Khan may have been involved here. Otherwise, why are you pulling off? Why are you pulling away from the relationship? That's the first part. Now, who was responsible for the investigation? So this double murder probe into the shooting death of this father and son liquidators experienced inexplicable delays, with critical evidence not being followed up on. There are key persons of interest that were not interviewed more than 3 years after the shooting in March in 2023. Now, you're probably wondering, why were the police not moving when there was clear evidence that was linking these suspected shooters? Well, Khan was never approached to provide a statement or information, even though there was information that was linking him to the murders. And the same information was actually shared with the head of organized crime investigations, Major General Richard Shibiri. Remember him, the one who's now fired from the SAPS because he received monies from Clement Manyathela. News 24 shared with him the information that links Khan to the murders. What did Shibiri do? Not much. In fact, you know who else was also involved in overseeing this investigation? The Deputy National Police Commissioner, Shadrack Sibiya. Didn't he say that he met with the families? In fact, the family of the Murray family, to explain where the process is. And remember, Shadrack Sibiya and Major General Richard Shibiri have got a close relationship. And who were they benefiting from? Clement Manyathela. Shibiri has already confirmed, I received over 70,000 rand or so from Clement Manyathela. Shadrack Sibiya has denied, but we know about those impalas that were transported to his farm from Clement Manyathela, facilitated by a third party. So let's connect the dots here. Khan, according to reports, is accused of being involved in the murders because the suspected shooter of this father and son worked for the company that Firoz Khan rigged a tender for with the help of, remember, Fani Molefe, a former Treasury official. So you've got Andrea Johnson who says, I'm walking away from this relationship because I see what you're being accused of, and I think that Andrea Johnson saw something there that really implicates Khan, and that's why she decided to boldly start shifting away from the relationship. But then we have to look at, why has the investigation not moved anywhere, despite clear evidence, despite information that was linking certain people to the murders? Well, look at who was doing the investigations. You will get the answer. General Shibiri is the head of organized crime investigations. Even when they shared information with him, what did he do about it? Shadrack Sibiya is the Deputy National Police Commissioner who was overseeing the investigations. Maybe it was in their own interest for there to be no progress here, because then it protects General Khan. I don't know. I'm trying to connect the dots here. It doesn't make sense that even with overwhelming evidence, there's still no arrests in this double murder case. And when you look at the people who were responsible for overseeing the investigation, they are compromised people in the SAPS who may or may not have tried to protect Firoz Khan. How do you connect the dots? Let me know on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. Also, the Baptist Nazareth Church leader, Mtutuzi Shembe, has invited the AmaZulu King, Mrs. Zulukazolitini, for tea. Did you see that? That's the latest now, since the king insulted him. Remember, the king was heard on a viral video calling the Shembe leader an idiot. And in that leaked video, the king is in a heated verbal argument directed at his third wife. So he appears to be intoxicated in the video, holding a bottle of alcohol, and he's heard insulting this third wife. And he even refers to Shembe as an idiot, accusing his wife of cheating with a member of the church. So King Misizulu Kazolithini has since issued an apology and even sent a delegation to meet with Shembe to convey his apology. And Shembe promptly forgave the king and said that the matter was now under the bridge. And now we see that the Shembe leader has now invited King Misizulu Kazolithini for tea. And this just makes me wonder, have you ever insulted or hurt someone and they reacted with grace? Or maybe you were heard gossiping about someone, or you send a gossip to them about them instead of somebody else. Whatever the case is, have you ever insulted, or maybe you've hurt someone and they reacted with a lot of grace? Or maybe you are the one that reacted with grace when someone hurt you or insulted you. Let me know. Share your experiences with us, please, on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. At 10 o'clock, as I said, we'll take you back to the Madlanga Commission to continue hearing the evidence of IDEC head Andrea Johnson. 10:30, we are going to count down to the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, speaking to Standard Bank, one of our key city champion partners. And at 11 o'clock, we do our Listener's Choice feature. And today, we've been asked to discuss the AARTO demerit system and how it's going to affect you. Remember, after more than 2 decades of policy discussions, legal challenges, pilot projects, repeated postponements, the country's administrative adjudication of road traffic offences system entered its next major phase on the 1st of July, introducing the long-awaited national demerit point system in participating municipalities. So we'll tell you more about that at 11. And then at 11:30, we do the sharing space. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
23 minutes now after 9 o'clock. I'm coming to your calls in a moment on 011-883-0702. Your WhatsApps as well. I want to bring in Kyle Cohen first, who is an investigative journalist at News 24, joining us on the line, because I'm still trying to connect the dots from what we heard from Andrea Johnson yesterday and why she walked away from, the relationship that she had with Firoz Khan, the reason being this double murder of the father and son, these liquidators, the Mare liquidators. And I'm trying to connect it to the people who are overseeing the investigation, because News 24 has consistently been reporting about how evidence has been there. Information was there that was linking the certain shooters to even Firoz Khan. So Kyle Cohen is joining us now on the line. Kyle, thank you so much for coming through. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Thank you for having me.
So Andrea Johnson yesterday says, I started to walk away from the relationship after I sat down with a relative, a family member of, Klut and Thomas Mare, and I realized that these are serious allegations. I'm going to move off, right? What I'm trying to determine now is, because I remember reading a number of the articles that you have written and investigation pieces you've written where you indicated that evidence has always been clear. Like there were inexplicable delays, there was critical evidence that was not followed up, there were key persons of interest that were not interviewed for more than 3 years after the shooting. And when I checked who was overseeing the investigations, then you see the names of General Richard Shibiri, you see Shadrach Sibiya saying, hey, I met with the family. Were they overseeing investigations, and could that tell us, perhaps give us a sense of why we haven't seen progress in this case?
So, Clement, in my investigations for News 24, shortly after the murder of Clinton Thomas Murray on the 18th of March 2023, my attention shifted very quickly from the apparent perpetrators to the police actually investigating the case and why they were not following up certain leads, why certain work was not being done. And that case was initially driven by an investigation team under Brigadier Pulane Khopane, who is the head of Gauteng organized crime. And to say that their performance in that investigation was questionable and I think suspect is an understatement. And in those efforts, and in feedback to the family and trying to understand what exactly was going on, we started to build a picture. I started to understand that there were very senior police officials who were potentially linked to some of the suspects in these cases. And that could explain why there were these delays and why critical evidence wasn't being followed up. So we consistently tried to, bring that attention, that to the attention of the public. And behind the scenes, the family were trying to put this case before as many senior police officials as they possibly could in order to try and exact some accountability from the system to try and push the case forward. I think it's actually quite galling, and I think we have to remember this is a family who, in James Murray's case, he lost his father and his brother. Renata Murray lost her husband and her youngest son. And here they were trying to push the case a little bit forward, trying to get the police to do their jobs. And that's where we see names like General Richard Sibiri, General Shadrach Sibiya being involved. They were approached to try and light a fire under the investigation team. Needless to say, Clement, here we are. It's almost August 2026. It's more than 3 years later. None of those efforts have prevailed. None of that has worked, and the case is still, sort of right where it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's really just shocking. So what do we understand about the link, though, to Firoz Khan and the suspected shooter?
So this is something that came up very early in my investigation, that, the senior figure at Crime Intelligence, General Firoz Khan, was potentially friends and known associates with several of the people that we were investigating as persons of interest alongside the police investigation. And, in my work for News 24, Clement, I was able to drill down into these connections and understand this network behind the scenes. So when James Murray met with Andrea Johnson, it was again part of those efforts to try and get the case moving, trying to push it forward. And these issues about Firoz Khan were known back then already as early as late 2023, middle 2024. But because of an active investigation ongoing, we as News 24 have to try and strike a balance between what information can we put in the public domain without damaging the case, while trying to extract some accountability. That doesn't, of course, mean that behind the scenes there wasn't a lot going on. And Khan's link here, we're talking about supercar rallies, events that are being attended with these people. But, there is no direct evidence, and I must be very, very clear on this. There's no direct evidence linking Firoz Khan to the commission of the murders of Clement and Thomas Murray. So what my hypothesis has always been, that I've been working on, is that the reason why the case is languishing, the reason why we are seeing this delay in this investigation, is because maybe someone senior in the police is pulling strings, and all roads led back to Major General Firoz Khan being the most influential person that is connected to almost every single one of the persons of interest.
And which company did the suspected shooter work for?
He was at that time he was a director of a car company called the 357 in Kyalami. It's a performance car company.
Isn't that the same company that Khan, had rigged a tender for with the help of that Fani Molefe, a treasury official?
Correct. So Mr. Ismail Valley is one of the other directors of the 357, along with Mr. Sanjay Ajodia, and Mr. Ryan Barwell, who we understand the police have been investigating as the driver of the vehicle used in the murders on the day, was a partner in this business. And this information has been known to the police since, April of 2023. Mr. Barwell has not been interviewed. Mr. Valley has not been interviewed. Mr. Ajodia has not been interviewed. Mr. Khan was not interviewed. So I think that it's very clear to me, Clement, that there's a nexus around the 357, this performance car shop. And, we all know that General Khan does love his fast cars and had a fleet of his own vehicles, and some of which the 357 also worked on.
Yeah, Kyle Cohen, thank you so much for chatting to us, and thanks for your great work in trying to get to the bottom of this and getting the police to go further with their investigations. It's 28 after 9.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is streets ahead. Warrior Paints. Affordable, lasting luxury.
Cutting costs means more money for your business. So switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. And you could get an out bonus with up to 10% of your paid premiums back. So make the smart business move and switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance today for law firms, real estate agencies, computer services, and all other businesses. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
Do you ever get that wake up, dress up, show up kind of energy? Well, it's final voter registration weekend. On the 1st and 2nd of August from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., registration stations open across South Africa. So show up and register to vote in the upcoming local government elections. Call 0800 11 8000, visit elections.org.za or WhatsApp 0600 880000 for more info. This message is brought to you by the IEC.
Upgrade Upgrade your home at unbeatable prices. Design Plus Interiors huge warehouse clearance sale in Wynberg is now on. Visit us at 17 6th Street, Wynberg for exceptional savings on quality sofas, bedroom suites, dining sets and accessories. This is your chance to get quality furniture at reduced prices. Stock is limited. Once it's cleared, it's gone. Design Plus Interior Furniture Warehouse, 17 6th Street, Wynberg.
In the 1960s, Douglas Engelbart had a thought. What if you could jump from one idea to another with just a click? That question led him to pioneer how hypertext would work. And this laid the foundation of how we navigate the internet today. See, whether you're reinventing the future or building something new, you need the right foundations to start. At Ex-Nihilo, we give you the right foundation to host your big idea. Ex-Nihilo, trusted in hosting.
It's just after 9:30. Swiss Zulu has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The defense is expected to continue cross-examining the state's first witness in the attempted murder trial of alleged crime boss Vusmuzi Matlaala and his 4 co-accused. Today is third day of proceedings. Yesterday, the court heard evidence from Zamokele, a security guard who was on duty at the Centurion Golf Estate when an alleged shooting took place. A former KwaZulu-Natal mayor has been arrested by the Hawks over an alleged R2 million municipal fraud linked to a shopping mall feasibility study. Former eMadlangeni Mayor Lindile Mhlungu and her alleged accomplice Musawenkosi Twala face charges of fraud, corruption and contravening the Municipal Finance Management Act. The Hawks say the investigation forms part of their continued crackdown on alleged corruption in local government. And a climatologist says the forecast El Nino weather system could place South Africa's crops under pressure. El Nino occurs when temperatures in the eastern Pacific Ocean rise by 1 to 2 degrees above normal, disrupting wind patterns and rainfall. Peter Johnston says the weather pattern has already been detected, although its impact is not guaranteed. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
While traveling on the M1 South, we still have got delays. This is just as you approach Grayston Drive. There's also queuing traffic reported along the N3 North approaching the Kilulis Interchange. Roadworks are causing these delays. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling in the city of Tshwane, expect some issues along the R80 East Mabopane Highway. There's also queuing traffic along the R21 North approaching Nelson Mandela Avenue. This is due to an accident. Please approach with care. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
It's 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. It's the 702 open line here on 011-883-0702. That's the number you can dial. Or chat to us on WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. I brought in Carl Cohen because I wanted you to just get a sense of what we are probably looking at here. I love connecting the dots. I enjoy sitting and looking at what the evidence that's being presented says, what someone says on the witness stand, and I go back to the information I've read about and I say, oh, hold on. Maybe it makes sense why the Kluter and Thomas Murray murder cases ever went anywhere. It's because the people who were overseeing these investigations were very compromised cops, as we now know. And at the time, we didn't know. But since the Madlanga Commission, we now know. Shibiri and Shadrach Sibiya, Richard Shibiri and Shadrach Sibiya, these were the two people who were asked to escalate matters and to look into this double murder of these liquidators, this father and son liquidator. But the matter didn't go anywhere. I'm interested now in the relationship that Shadrach Sibiya has with Firoz Khan. But here's another dot you may want to connect. Firoz Khan was close to who? Julius Malema, from the WhatsApp messages we've seen, in some way, right? You know, closeness is also quite subjective. But we know that they were communicating via Saeed. So these are people who had a relationship. And what were we told at the Madlanga Commission about Julius Malema and Shadrach Sibiya? Wasn't there a witness who claimed that they are close? There's a witness who came out and said They have a relationship, Shadrach Sibiya and Julius Malema. Where was Julius Malema when Shadrach Sibiya appeared at the ad hoc committee? He wasn't there. I'm just trying to connect the dots. And I'm not saying this is what the picture is. I'm trying to show that Khan is close to certain people. Khan is likely close to Richard Shibiri and maybe even Shadrach Sibiya. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they are, because there are factions here. General Ntantlam Kwanazi held a press briefing and said, why are you trying to arrest the head of crime intelligence? There are people here that have actually have been proven to be compromised who are in the SAPS. And then you've got Shadrach Sibiya who comes out and says, well, that's crazy. There's nothing like that. Then you've got Firoz Khan, Ntantlam Kwanazi, who says, Firoz Khan is very close to politicians. You guys need to look into this man. And then now we've got more information about Firoz Khan. And it's possible that he probably was assisted by the other people that he is in affection with in the SAPS. Maybe Shadrach Sibiya and Shibiri, who used their own subordinates and officers to make sure that this case doesn't move anywhere. Because at some point it may lead back to Khan. Because again, the suspected shooter of this father and son worked for a company, according to reports, for a company that Khan rigged a tender for with the help of that Treasury official, Molefe Fani. Someone on the WhatsApp line, on Twitter, sends a message and says, hi Clement, this is Selby Mo. Says, Clement, this Mare matter will end Andrea Johnson's credibility because she's claiming that she had a referral made to her by the victims and she didn't act on alleged criminality. IDEC has powers to investigate Section 28 referrals. Your dots are connecting. Well, Selby Mo, I think you're making a good point, but remember, Andrea Johnson said, I met with this Mare family member and a friend. I'm not sure if this family member that met with Andrea Johnson made the Section 27 referral, or maybe they were just sharing information with Johnson informally. I'm not too sure there. But what Andrea Johnson said was, I met with this family member, and after that I realized that something is fishy here regarding Khan and the allegation that he was involved in the murders, and then I decided to walk away. But to your point, you have a point. If really Andrea Johnson, there was a referral made for IDEC to get involved here and investigate, and they didn't, then, yeah, I wonder what could be. And also, remember, you have to ask the question of, does that fall within the mandate of IDEC to investigate? It's so scary how infiltrated the justice system is. It really is. It's 20 minutes now before 10 o'clock.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Good morning, Clement. I'll remain anonymous for this one. So I had to extend grace. I literally just had to pretend as if I did not receive that message, even though I did. So it was from one of my ex-in-laws. The message was not meant for me, but it was about me. Some pretty cringe-worthy stuff said there. And yeah, I just had to be the bigger person. But there was a bit of awkwardness for a couple of months. But yeah, we just got over it, and I hope they're fine. It wasn't discussed. There was no forgiveness or anything like that. But yeah, I just pretended as if there isn't such a message that I received. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for the long voice note.
No worries. It can really get awkward, hey? But that's so great. You've clearly extended grace here to someone who was gossiping about you and sent you a message that wasn't intended for you. Those things get awkward. I've been in that situation before where I was, and for me it was worse because many years ago, this is probably in 2013, 2014, I sent a message to my colleague about my manager. And it's a message that the manager shouldn't have received. And guess what? The message went straight to the manager instead of this colleague of mine who's also a friend. So yeah, things got a little awkward, but I had a good relationship with this manager, and it wasn't anything too bad. You know, this manager of mine used to have someone who used to pick them up at work, and this person was a famous person. So we were trying to establish, are they in a relationship? And that message went straight to the manager. And you know what I did? I called in sick the next day because I just couldn't look at him. I was too scared. I called in sick the next day. Doctor booked me for 2 days, and I only got to see the manager the following week, who was very gracious about it and laughed it off. So there are people who can do that. Like the Shembe leader. I mean, did you hear the things that the Amazulu king said about the Shembe leader? He's accepted his apology and has went further to say, hey, if you've got time for some tea, my brother, let's have some tea. Hence, I'm asking you this morning, have you ever insulted or hurt someone and they reacted with grace? Or vice versa, maybe you are the one that reacted with grace after you were hurt or insulted by someone. Let me know. 072-702-1702.
Good morning, Clement and 702 Landers. I think that Advocate Johnson should fall by the sword and protect her dignity, whatever is left of it, because she has brought serious disrepute to IDAC. We do not trust IDAC anymore, and I think that she should rather leave. This is Asanda from Nigel.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you also don't want to make it that easy for a head of such an important institution that fights corruption to just easily be removed, right? You don't want that, because otherwise, with the political system we have, that can easily be abused, even by the president, right? If the head of IDAC or the head of whatever corruption institution starts investigating, let's say, the president or people close to the president could decide, let me just remove that person. In this case, you have to be quite cautious. You must build in a framework that ensures, yes, there can still be accountability on the head of IDAC, but that's not going to be easily abused. So the president would have to institute a commission of inquiry into her fitness to hold office and then make a decision thereof. Or maybe they can have discussions behind the scenes and say, just resign, walk away. Because otherwise, if we institute a commission of inquiry, then you're going to be forced to resign. It's 15 minutes before 10.
Because behind every blood donation is a future still unfolding. A child's first day at school, a first job, a dream business, a first drive. For 25 years, blood donors have made these moments possible. In just 30 minutes, give someone another tomorrow. Be the lifeline. Give blood. Give it tomorrow. The South African National Blood Service.
Joburg is calling. Step into the heart of the city as the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk takes over the streets once again. Brand Gauteng invites you to lace up, show up, and experience Johannesburg like never before. From iconic landmarks to vibrant neighborhoods, live music, local flavor, and the unmistakable energy of the city. Every step tells a story. Zwakala, bring your friends, bring the family, and be part of the movement. This isn't just a walk. It's Joburg, alive and on the move. See you at the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today. It's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
All right, so if you're coming to walk with us on Sunday at the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, listen up. So this Sunday, the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk participants can make use of convenient park and shuttle service. The color of your wristband contained in your walk number pack corresponds with your designated collection point and grants you access for both the outbound and return shuttle services. So Monte Casino, your color is red. For Greenstone Shopping Center, the color is green. Clearwater Mall, the color is blue. And Gold Reef City Casino, the color of your wristband is white. So please ensure that you are at your designated pickup points at least 30 minutes before your intended departure time. Shuttle buses will depart from all park and shuttle pickup points every 30 minutes, starting at 5:30 a.m. Return shuttle buses to all park and shuttle parking venues will depart from Ellis Park every 30 minutes, commencing at 10 a.m. And the last shuttle bus will depart Ellis Park at 4 p.m. So please ensure that your wristband is securely fastened to your wrist before boarding the shuttle and keep it on for the duration of the event. Alternatively, if you are traveling to the event using Gautrain, please proceed to the Gautrain station you selected during the entry process. Ensure that your walk number is clearly visible, and this will serve as your access pass to board the Gautrain. And then you travel to Park Station, where you'll transfer to Prasa train for the short journey to Ellis Park. See you at the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babiza Bonke, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
12 minutes before 10 o'clock. I've been trying to connect the dots this morning. Andrea Johnson no longer has a relationship with Firoz Khan because she seems to be concerned about the allegations against him in as far as the assassinations of Kluter and Thomas Murray are concerned. And we know there are two people that have indicated that they looked into these matters. In fact, News 24 has had meetings with Major General Richard Shibiri, or I think the family of the Murray family, and they shared information with Richard Shibiri, who was the head of organized crime investigations at the time. But that didn't go anywhere, right? And there were just so many delays, even though there was critical evidence, and that critical evidence wasn't even followed up. And the key persons of interest were never interviewed. And Major General Richard Shibiri, who was the national head of organized crime investigations at the time, didn't do much about that information. Shadrach Sibiya, who's the Deputy National Police Commissioner, also didn't do much about all this clear evidence. I think he did say he met with the Murray family. Now that you know what you know about Shadrach Sibiya, now that you know what you know about Major General Richard Shibiri, are you surprised that this investigation went nowhere and it somehow, allegedly, somehow links back to the Deputy Head of Crime Intelligence, Firoz Khan? Because the suspected shooter, remember, the suspected shooter of this father and son liquidators worked for a company that Khan allegedly rigged a tender for with the help of a treasury official. So, if that is the case, then it makes sense then why these top police officers didn't move anywhere with the investigation, because that would have ultimately probably led and pointed back to Firoz Khan. How are we going to root out crime if we have officers in the service who would rather protect each other instead of doing everything possible to get to the bottom of a crime that's affected a family, to get to the bottom of the murders that have affected people who were just doing their work, who were liquidators? But clearly they touched something and started investigating something that clearly they shouldn't have. But where do we run to if we can't even trust the very police who are supposed to protect us?
Hi, Clement. I'm just wondering why the SIU and the SARS have not moved in on Khan, because clearly the guy was living way beyond his means. And if someone can declare 30 cars in 1 year, where did he get such money on his salary? Or maybe there are moves afoot by the SIU and SARS that we don't know about. Just wondering. Zweli in Germiston.
Morning, Clement. For me, it's just how evasive she was. I mean, at some point, remember when the evidence leader wanted to ascertain from her if she, as head of IDEC, has the power to overturn decisions or overrule decisions made by investigators. She refused. She was just being evasive and saying that she doesn't have, she hasn't exercised such powers. But she was asked, "Do you have such a power?" I saw Advocate Sello being quite, irritated and just because they keep ducking and diving, Prince Johannesburg.
This Nando's ad is not an ad. It's a Wednesday reminder on a Wednesday. With a beautiful professional voice and music made specifically for you. Specifically to tell you that today you can get the Wednesday double drop deal from Nando's. That's 2 full portion livers and 2 Nando's rolls for only $1.45. Wow. Now that's something worth being reminded about.
Thank you.
Like an alarm clock, but for your stomach. Nando's. Oh, what a place. T's and C's apply.
As Joburg takes a big step towards a cleaner future, the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment is joining you on this journey because a cleaner city is everyone's responsibility. So whether at home or in public spaces, always use designated bins, separate recyclable material and never litter or dump illegally. And together, everybody can build cleaner, healthier and greener communities. Act now. Reduce waste and recycle. This message was brought to you by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment.
Tired of seeing the same tiles everywhere you look? Charm Decor is where you'll find something different. We curate high-quality imported tiles and mosaics that transform your space into something truly special. Design-led collections, easy online shopping, and samples delivered straight to you, so you can choose with confidence. Trusted by interior designers, architects, and home renovators. Discover tiles that inspire. Charm Decor. Visit charmdecor.co.za and order your samples today.
Joburg, it's time to show up for our city. On Sunday, 26 July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in proud partnership with Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history, and experience the positive growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner, passionate about the growth of our city, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement that's helping build a safer, stronger, and spirited Josie for generations to come. Register now and take the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the Talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's going up to 5 minutes now before 10 o'clock. So Andrea Johnson has now taken the hot seat at the Madlanga Commission. So yesterday, refusing to answer some of the questions related to the allegation she faces that she had tipped off Firoz Khan a few years ago when she was a senior investigator at the NPA and sent him through a third party information about a complainant against Firoz Khan. I mean, you don't make this stuff up. And then Brian Padayachi, a senior investigator at IDEC, just last week was telling us that while he was sitting across Firoz Khan, he somehow shared with him the statement of Mokwele. Doesn't make sense. And yet Firoz Khan is actually a witness in the case. If that's the case, then why would you allow Firoz Khan to have sight of Mokwele's statement? And Padayachi tried to claim that, well, it was in front of me at the time and it's not that I gave it to him. No, if he had sight of it, he read it. There's only one way. In fact, as an investigator, you must be cautious. You can't be opening statements of, about someone and you're sitting with a witness and you're not hiding that, that's actually quite irresponsible, because then you are sitting across someone who is going to be a witness. You don't want them to sort of have information about the person who is being investigated to sort of favor them and what story they're going to tell the state when the matter goes to trial. Some of your messages that are coming through, Tsapo says, "Hi Clement, the concept of police prosecuting each other is a common thing. It happens even at police station level." That's protecting. So the concept of police protecting each other is a common thing. It even happens at police station level. That's a message from Tsepo. Yeah, clearly. And then another one says, "Hi Clement, another dot to connect. The alleged shooter for the Marais, Bernard, who has also been linked in a hail of, is it killed? Ooh, it's a bit, okay, let's try that again. Hi Clement, another dot to connect. The alleged shooter of the Marais, Bernard, who has also been killed in a hail of bullets outside Millpark Hospital, was also a very close friend of the Canelix directors. There are photos of them in front of a fleet of luxury vehicles. Oh, you see, there's another dot that's now collecting. So the alleged shooter of the Marais was killed in a hail of bullets, right, outside Millpark Hospital. He had a close friend, he had a close relationship with the Canelix directors. And you know the relationship that Khan had, right, with some of the directors at Canelix. And there are photos, because they used to take pictures in front of these luxury vehicles. The dots are beginning to connect now, but to what end and to what point? If the police themselves are not interested in these dots because they're going to link to someone who is probably close to them or to someone that they're trying to protect. That's the sad state of affairs.
I feel like this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is going to be special. We're taking over Johannesburg, and I think this is the one people are going to be talking about in years to come. You should absolutely take part in this year's Walk the Talk. It feels as if it is a moment. If you have heard anything about this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, you are going to have such FOMO. You are going to miss out. I'll be working on the day, but I'll also be enjoying interacting with so many 702 landers. I've often thought I'll do 5 and then I end up doing 8, or I think I'll do 8 and then I end up doing 15 kilometers. For me, it's going to be about the vibe, it's going to be about the experience, it's going to be about Josie. To enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to Prime Media Plus. Make a date with us Sunday, 26th July. See you there.
When you're walking the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk on Sunday, the 26th of July, keep your eyes open because Mazda is bringing wonder to the 8-kilometer route. There'll be 5 Mazda Wonder experiences, including a piano performance, a world of color, a bubble field, a Japanese garden, and the Mazda Wonder Hub. Visit one of the 5 and then capture and share your wonder moment on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. Tag and follow at Mazda SA using hashtag Mazda SA, and you could win your share of 50,000 Rand. Mazda, where wonder awaits. T's and C's apply.
At the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, snap and share any one of 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag Mazda SA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The world's best male and female paddle players are coming to South Africa. The historic Premier Paddle Pretoria P1 will be at Sunbet Arena Times Square from 26 July to the 2nd of August. Expect world-class action, unbelievable energy, premium hospitality, and an atmosphere unlike anything South African sport has seen before. This is Africa's biggest paddle tournament ever, and tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to witness the sport's biggest stars in South Africa. Get your tickets now at primemediaplus.com.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The defense is expected to continue cross-examining the state's first witness in the attempted murder trial of alleged crime figure Vusmuzi Matlala and his 4 co-accused. Today is third day of proceedings. Matlala and his wife Tsakani and 2 others face a total of 25 charges in the Johannesburg High Court. Yesterday, the court heard evidence from Zamocele, a security guard who was on duty at the Centurion Golf Estate when an alleged shooting took place. Demakasole Shoro has more.
This is what witness Mzamocele said when he was asked about the cartridges found at the scene.
Amaphoyisa afika acollector ama cartridges ukuthi ayikade dopa wami or ayidopa kabani akudoko eligayelwe mina lelo.
Whether they were picking my cartridges or whoever cartridges, I don't know. That's not my business.
Counsel for accused number 5, Advocate Timothy Chawuke, interjected.
These are not comments that we can expect to be used in a courtroom. It must be one to respect learned colleagues.
Counsel for accused 3 and 4, Advocate Annelien van der Heever, also complained.
Your Lordship would have noticed the manner in which this witness keeps on answering questions. He does not like to be confronted with evidence, and the record will speak for itself.
Judge Musa ultimately ruled the words themselves were not derogatory. Dimakatsole Shoro, Eyewitness News.
The NPA says it has a strong case against suspended EMPD senior officer Julius Mkhwanazi in his alleged robbery case. Mkhwanazi and a JMPD officer known as Witness K were released on 5,000 Rand bail yesterday. They are accused of stealing precious stones from a Killarney apartment in 2023. The NPA is pursuing theft and robbery charges against them, along with 2 other EMPD officers who are also alleged to have been involved in the crime. Meanwhile, IPID spokesperson Lizzie Shuping says all 4 accused will stand trial together after they were arrested separately.
They will now join their other 2 colleagues or suspects, namely Kesha Stolz and Adrian McKenzie, who were also granted 5,000 bail by the same court on the 16th of July 2026. Their next court appearance is 25 August 2026.
A former KwaZulu-Natal mayor has been arrested by the Hawks over an alleged 2 million rand municipal fraud linked to a shopping mall feasibility study. Former Mdlangeni mayor Lindile Mhlungu and her alleged accomplice Musawenkosi Twala face charges of fraud, corruption and contravening the Municipal Finance Management Act. The Hawks say the investigation forms part of their continued crackdown on alleged corruption in local government. Mongezi Koko takes a look.
The Hawks allege that in 2019, Lindile Mhlungu instructed the then municipality manager to appoint a service provider to conduct a feasibility study for a proposed shopping mall in Utrecht without following the required supply chain management processes. Investigators say the municipality later paid the service provider more than 2 million rand, despite allegations that no work was ever carried out. The pair appeared in the Pietermaritzburg Magistrates Court yesterday, where they were released on bail of 10,000 rand and 2,000 rand respectively. The case has been postponed to the 1st of September, while the Hawks say further arrests are expected. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
And a climatologist says the forecast El Nino weather system could place South Africa's crops under pressure. El Nino occurs when temperatures in the eastern Pacific Ocean rise by 1 to 2 degrees above normal, disrupting wind patterns and rainfall. Peter Johnston says the weather pattern has already been detected, although its impact is not guaranteed. But he says farmers in some of the hottest provinces, including Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, the Northwest and the Free States, would be able to manage if it materializes.
We've been looking at heat-resistant seed and also been looking at ways of planting, so that planting happens in order to save soil moisture and also take advantage of the conditions which are not conducive to huge yields.
Agricultural economist Swandile Slobo says it remains unclear whether the upcoming El Nino will be as severe as in 2015 when maize production dropped by 50%.
Back then, we did not have as much soil moisture on the ground, and we did not have as ample grain supplies as we have today. We are closing some of the excellent 2 seasons which have enabled South Africa to have good agricultural supplies, which set us up somewhat well ahead of the start of this challenging season.
Gold is trading at $4,132.44 an ounce. The rand is at 16.46 to the dollar, 22.03 to the pound, 18.78 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $92.33 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in Devlin along the Golden Highway. That's between Union Avenue and East Street. That's due to roadworks along this route. There's also some delays reported on the Markwa North just as you approach the Crown interchange. And then if you are traveling in the city of Tshwane, please be on the lookout for some delays reported along the R80 East approaching Eskom Pahlele Drive.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 22 and 24 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the defense is expected to continue cross-examining the state's first witness in the attempted murder trial of alleged crime figure Vusmuzi Magwenya and his 4 co-accused.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 7:02.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 10 o'clock, Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 7:02, and thank you for your contributions, your calls, your WhatsApps, your tweets on the 7:02 open line. I'm watching closely what's happening at the Madlanga Commission. I'm going to take you there live in a moment because they're really getting into the nuts and bolts of the issues that Andrea Johnson raised in her own statement yesterday. So the opportunity today is for the evidence leader and the commissioner to probe her on some of the issues she responded to yesterday. Even that issue that she declined to comment on, invoking Section 35 of the Constitution, which protects her from self-incrimination, because there may be a case against her that the NPA is considering with regards to the alleged tip-off that he gave to Firoz Khan a number of years ago when she was still a senior investigator at the NPA. Remember, at 10:30, we're going to have a conversation with Standard Bank, but I also want to hear from you if you'll be taking part in the 7:02 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. What are you looking forward to? What distance are you doing? We'll speak to Standard Bank because they're one of our key city champion partners. We are all counting down now to the 7:02 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk on Sunday, and I hope you have entered already. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature, and today one of our listeners has asked that we discuss the AARTO demerit system and how it's going to affect all of us who live in these municipalities that are participating. It's 9 minutes now after 10. After the break, I'll take you straight to the Madlanga Commission.
Aubrey Masango,
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
The Burundian pastor stabbed his love interest more than 40 times. You got to understand what that means, man. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's just 10. Imagine that being the entry of a blade into the continuity of the epidermal lining of another human being. Apparently, the pastor was angry that the young woman's brother was sympathetic to March and March and the anti-illegal immigration movement.
Aubrey Masango,
8 to midnight on 7:02.
7:02.
On Sunday, the 26th of July, celebrate the iconic rhythm that makes Joburg more than just a city. At the finish line of the 7:02 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk, babize bonke, because this epic walk through the inner city all comes together with some of Josi's favorite artists, such as Babalwa M, Labs at the Villain, Dibuhle, Nomfundo Mo, Semdeep, Citizen Deep, and Manana. So, after you've taken the scenic route, join us at the finish line for an afternoon fun and relaxation. 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
What's the first name you think of when I say office printers? Nashua, right? We've been supporting businesses with printers for over 50 years. But did you know we also offer other technology to enable your business? From world-class phone systems to PCs and laptops, business-grade internet, and secure cloud storage. All the latest tech to keep your business connected. Nashua. More than print.
Welcome to Nando's. Taste Demonials.
It's the flavor!
Real reviews by real people. Nico from Kailami is in touch with his emotions. So when we asked about the Nando's Peri Peri half chicken and a single side for only $1.25, he said,
I'm sad. I finished it.
Ah, Nikos, ungawari. Because this chicken season has more episodes. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
Scholar Transport drivers. Every winter morning, our children depend on you to get them to school safely. But overloaded vehicles and rushing against time puts lives at risk. Remember, our children are not cargo. Overloading reduces your ability to stop on wet or icy roads. Drive responsibly. Arrive safely. Protect every child, every trip. This message is brought to you by the National Department of Transport.
What is your business here?
You didn't start your business to play it safe. You took the leap, made the bold move, and now it's time to make the next one. This week, 702 and Budget Business Insurance are giving small businesses the chance to win their share of 100,000 Rand with the Budget BizBucks Bonanza. Enter on primemediaplus.com. Tell us about the boldest move you've ever made in your business and what your next one will be. Then get an obligation-free Budget Business Insurance quote. 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa could call you. Budget Insurance is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
702.
The Clement Manyathela Show.
Let's walk the talk.
It's 13 minutes after 10. Okay, there's fascinating stuff coming out of the Madlanga Commission now. They've just asked Andrea Johnson, what did you do after you received the complaint from Fadil Adam? So as the leader of IDEC, what was your next course of action? Here's how she's responding to that. We're live now at the Madlanga Commission.
Yes.
What did you do then if you did do something? What did you do?
I honestly cannot remember. I have to cast my mind back to, in the acknowledgement of the receipt of the letter, I speak under correction. I'm not sure that I asked and indicated that there was nothing attached to this letter, because a few days later, by way of envelope, we get the Section 27. He would have been told to file a Section 27. I mean, he didn't make it up. He didn't wake up one morning thinking, oops, I have to put in a Section 27 affidavit. So someone would have advised him to file that. That's why it's important to know, what did you do? What did you say in that acknowledgement of this letter? You must have said something before we get to, you then received an envelope.
And the acknowledgement would have been typed from an internal computer. Surely you have that letter in your possession or a draft of it somewhere in the computer, and it can be made available to the Commission.
We have looked for it. I'm going to ask them to look for it again, because I also have to apply my mind. I can't, that is why it sounds like a fumbling answer, because I can't recollect what I would have written over and beyond. We acknowledge the receipt, and in all likelihood would have alluded to the fact that there is nothing there, because it talks to this envelope coming with the 27 a week later.
But you see, speaking for myself, Advocate Johnson, the answer you've just given now creates an impression that a draft of this letter was deleted. That's why it's not available, because you use a laptop to draft a letter. And then your PA, I assume, would have then either printed it from that computer or emailed it to you. And if you are happy with it, you would have appended your signature and it would have gone to the minister's office. Now, if you're saying we have looked and it's not there, the question is what would have happened to that draft unless somebody deleted it so that it is no longer available.
And maybe to correct what you've said, this letter doesn't say, here's a copy of an affidavit. It says a copy of a written correspondence addressed to the minister. So if it lacked anything, it was the letter which Mr. Adams addressed to the minister, not an affidavit. You still have, you're not on suspension. You have your laptop. You are able to check this and give us a copy of your response, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And I will look for it again. I will have the PA look for hers again. We did try that exercise, or we did do that exercise, not try the exercise. But if you give me till lunch today, we'll go back. I'll ask the IT, perhaps, Advocate Maga, if we could just engage with the IT to check through the email correspondence of both myself and my PA. It could have been I drafted a response and emailed to her, or she would have an emailed to me so that we are able to give the Commission a full account.
From what you're saying, so it means the letter should be in both your inboxes.
Should.
Your PAs, maybe on your side, if you send to her, it will be on your sent items, and then in her inbox. If she drafted it and sent it to you, it's in her sent items and in your inbox.
Correct.
So again, going back to what Commissioner Kumalo said, it's unlikely that it would disappear on both ends. That's just unlikely. Do you agree?
Correct. And if I may, just one point of correction is there are times as well, Chair, where I would type a document, print it myself, sign it, and then hand her the hard copy to distribute.
Yeah,
just for purposes of clarity.
You are correcting yourself, because what I suggested to you now was based on what you had said, which was you sending or she sending, or he, because your PA could be a he. Or she, yeah. So I was basing it on what you had said, but you are correcting yourself and now saying it could be on one end only.
Correct.
All right, okay.
Sorry, there was a question by Commissioner Baloy that got lost in this engagement, which was how else would Mr. Adams have known to contact IDEC and prepare Section 27 affidavit? Did IDEC contact Mr. Adams and say, we need an affidavit from you? Because this is 13 days later, so the minister's letter is the 11th of November. On the 21st, so it's about 11 days, 10 days, Mr. Adams then has this affidavit. I don't know how it gets to IDEC, but how did Mr. Adams know that he must do a Section 27 affidavit for IDEC?
Mr. Adams would have had to be contacted by IDEC.
Following upon receipt of this letter, IDEC contacted Mr. Adams.
IDEC could have had to have contacted him, yes.
Who did that? Who contacted Mr. Adams?
In this instance, it would have had to have been Chief Criminal Investigator Perumal.
Do you know for a fact or don't you?
I did, that's why I say it would have, in all likelihood, would have been Chief Investigator Perumal.
You don't know for a fact?
I don't know for a fact.
But why do you think him?
Because later on, the engagements with Mr. Adams were with Mr. Perumal and the other investigators. We would not have then sent people that have not already engaged with him.
Sorry, Ms. Lo,
Indeed, Chair. No.
It was your question we took over. So
No, it's following. These are follow-up questions to the question I had asked, so it's they flow from the question. I'm happy.
Yes.
Please,
Please
Chair.
go ahead. Please go ahead.
Can I ask on the back of that, your response, the way that I've understood your description of how your processes work, it's you get a Section 27, you then discuss it with, you take a view, you then discuss it with Mr. Sissoko, you give it to him to then take his own view, the two of you agree something, and after you've agreed that there is an offense in this referral, you then refer it to the team, right? That referral to the team, who in particular does it go to from you and Mr. Sissoko? Who does it go to? When you say we then refer it to a team?
The office would usually call the project manager to hand over the document, and then it goes then into the team for the deputy and all of them to work through the document.
So is Mr. Tlale a forever standing project manager? At that point, it's you and Mr. Sissoko. When does a project manager get appointed to be responsible for this now?
It depends which team you're sending it to. They have standing project managers.
So there was already a team to which you referred yours, and I'm going to call you the intake committee for now until you have that discussion with Ms. Sillo and the rest of us. But for purpose of our discussion, you are the intake committee. You've made a decision. Is there a project manager already at that point, or do you then proceed at that point to appoint a project? I'm just trying to understand how you then process it from that point. And we'll come back to the question about who contacted Mr. Adams.
There are 4 project managers in the office. And when you allocate a matter to a team, that team already has an existing project manager. So it is, the project manager may have been there because of other matters. And like I said, for example, that team deals with the Transnet matters under Mr. Manilal. So when we gave the matter to Mr. Manilal, the project manager who's been in that team is Mr. Tlale.
Okay. Now, if Chief Perumal is the one that contacts Mr. Adams following this letter, where does he get that from? This is Chief Perumal. Where does he get it from that he must contact a member of Parliament, Adams? Because at this point, there's no Section 27 yet that has come in. So that process of you and Mr. Sissoko hasn't yet happened. Nothing has yet been referred to a team or to a project manager and team. How does Chief Perumal come into it? After you've received MK16?
I speak under correction. When Mr. Sissoko is not there for me to ask or request that he engage with somebody, it would depend who's acting in his place, and I need to check if Mr. Perumal was acting at the time, or we also have Chief Criminal Investigator Lusanda Boy, to whom we would allocate. It might be on that basis that he was therefore approached to deal with this matter, because we would need an investigator to be able to interview Mr. Adams.
So for Chief Perumal to have been the one, of Mr. Boy for that matter, whoever you have appointed, but for now you say you think it must have been Chief Perumal, for him to contact Mr. Adams following you receiving this letter, because at that point that's all you have, yes, you would have had to say to him, I've received this letter, contact Mr. Adams.
That is correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you, Commissioners.
So at that stage, neither Mr. Sissoko or whoever else was involved. It was you, and you directly said to Mr. Peruma, contact Mr. Adams. No involvement of Mr. Sissoko.
No, because we haven't had the 27 yet.
All right. I'm asking to be sure because earlier when the same question was asked, you mentioned Mr. Sissoko, you mentioned somebody else, and that just confused issues. So, all right. Thank you. I understand.
Thank you, Chair. So then, just so we understand where we are at, you've now received MK16. You indicated that you did not refer to an investigation because it did not have attachments. But we know from the letter itself that it had written correspondence addressed to the Minister of Police. What attachments did you consider were lacking that made it, the absence of which made it difficult for you to act on this letter?
I only have these 2 pages.
Ma'am?
I only got these 2 pages.
Let's go to that, the very letter. It reads, in the first paragraph, attached here to please find for ease of reference a copy of written correspondence addressed to the Honorable Minister of Police, Honorable Senzo Mtunu by Member of Parliament, Honorable Fadil Adams.
Yes.
So you say you didn't have?
I only had these 2 pages that you have here, page 310 and 311.
Please say that again.
I only had these 2 pages.
Oh, the 310, 311
310
is the page,
and 311, yes.
So, did you go back to Mr. Nkabinde and say you forgot to attach the written correspondence between the Minister of Police and Mr. Adams, which you had kindly offered for ease of my reference? You didn't do that?
That is why I'm saying we need to look for the response to this letter, where I would have acknowledged the letter and in all likelihood would have asked for that which is short, attached, please find a reference. I would have asked for the written correspondence.
But definitely you recall you didn't have that correspondence attached.
I recall I didn't have that correspondence.
You then, as you testified, you instructed Chief Perumal to be in contact with Mr. Adams to obtain Section 27 affidavit.
That is correct.
Now, I want to suggest to you, so effectively, IDEC solicited a Section 27 affidavit from Mr. Adams.
I tell you now, when you look at the 27, we didn't take the 27. They would have contacted him, and I guess this is what we got. I speak under correction. Mr. Perumal would have to answer what he got from Mr. Adams, but what we got was a 27 dated the 21st of November, 2024.
That's fine. My question is, that document you're holding in your hand, IDEC solicited it from Mr. Adams. You received a letter from the minister. You then directed Mr. Perumal to act on that and contact Mr. Adams and
ask him for his.
Ask him. So you solicited a Section 27 affidavit from a would-be complainant.
I don't agree with the solicited.
Ma'am?
I don't agree with solicited. We would have asked him because. You see, I'm going into the detail that's not mine and not in my head, and I don't want to sound that
It's yours, Advocate Johnson. You are the one who gave an instruction to Chief Perumal to contact Mr. Adams. So Ms. Sillo's question relates to that. That has nothing to do. Mr. Perumal would then have been the actor on your instruction. That's where the question is. It has nothing to do with what Mr. Perumal then did down the line. So please do not deflect the question and refer to what Mr. Perumal would have done or not done. Can you please respond to the question?
Then we would have obtained the statement.
At your instance, that's the substance of the question.
That is correct.
That's what Ms. Silo means when she says to you, so you solicited the affidavit, because what came out of your instruction that please contact Mr. Adams was the submission of the Section 27 affidavit. So it's on that basis that Ms. Silo is suggesting to you, you solicited that affidavit. Do you now agree?
I agree.
As you sit here today, is that appropriate of IDEC to be soliciting complaints from members of the public on the basis of which then IDEC initiates investigations?
No, we're not supposed to solicit. And that is why I'm saying I tell Mr. Perumal to engage Mr. Adams. I don't know if this was a prepared affidavit already. It was to say to him, we received a letter from the minister. We are engaging you. So whether this was already prepared or not, at the time, we got this affidavit.
Okay, so then...
Okay, it's getting hot there at the Madlanga Commission. All right, we're going to get the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. There'll be analysis of what's transpired so far throughout the day here on 702. Let's get the latest now from Swiso Zulu. It's 10:32. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. South Africa's inflation rate has climbed back to the upper end of the Reserve Bank's target range. SSA says consumer inflation accelerated to 5% in June, up from 4.5% the previous month. Former National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula has pleaded not guilty to the 13 charges against her, and this was in the Pretoria High Court, where its first day of her corruption case. Mapisa-Nqakula is accused of soliciting and receiving kickbacks of 4.5 million rand from a contractor when she was Defence Minister. And a British father accused of murdering his wife and 2 daughters has chosen not to apply for bail in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court. The state says Ndodana Chuma is an illegal fugitive after fleeing the United Kingdom. Chuma left the UK through Heathrow Airport 2 days before the bodies of his wife and 2 daughters were discovered in their home in Bedfordshire earlier this month. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, heading towards Mulder's Drift, we've got delays along the N14 West approaching Malibongwe Drive. This is due to an accident. Please be on the lookout there. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up. If you can, try to avoid this one by using Malibongwe Drive through Kaya Sand instead. If you are traveling on the Mark 1 North, we've got delays along the route just as you approach the Crown Interchange. There's also queuing traffic on the Golden Highway. That's in the Eldorado Park area between Union Avenue and East Street. And then, of course, in the city of Tshwane, things are looking much better now. Nothing major has been reported, but we do have roadworks that are taking place right along the N1 South towards Porter Avenue. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Feel like a kid again with Polar Ice Cream, turning the finish line of the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk into the sweetest spot of the day. Cross that finish line and join in the happiness, because Polar is showing up with the crowd favorites, Polar Pops and Fruity Licks for every walker. So cheering you on every step of the way and celebrating every achievement with a well-deserved treat. So walk with purpose, knowing South Africa's favorite ice cream will be waiting for you at the end. Polar Ice Cream. Share the happiness.
Meet the all-new Lepus L6, an aspirational lifestyle sub-brand of the Cherry Group. A spacious, intuitive cabin that moves with you. 6 striking colors, a panoramic sunroof, and an advanced 540-degree HD surround view camera system. With a 10-year, 1 million kilometer engine guarantee, pre-orders are open now. Be among the first. Book your test drive or visit lepus-sa.co.za today. Lepus, drive your elegance.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Because behind every blood donation is a future still unfolding. A child's first day at school, a first job, a dream business, a first drive. For 25 years, blood donors have made these moments possible. In just 30 minutes, give someone another tomorrow. Be the lifeline. Give blood. Give it tomorrow. The South African National Blood Service.
You've taken your small business far. Nedbank and 702 can help you take it even further.
How important is it that a campaign like Nedbank Business Ignite recognizes not only entrepreneurs but people who solve problems?
It is important because being an entrepreneur can be a lonely journey. You go through a lot of challenges, and when you do have those victories, there's no one to recognize you. And this competition definitely does that, to recognize the good that the entrepreneurs have done, their achievements. And what we're doing differently this year, we actually decided to touch base with our past winners. We shot a vodcast, and people can go and actually watch those and actually catch up with our past winners to find out what they've done since winning the competition. I mean, my mind was blown in terms of what these guys have achieved.
See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
This Sunday, Joburg will come together for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. But before you walk with people for the people, you'll need to collect your walk numbers from Ellis Park Arena on 29 Bertmans Road, New Dorenfontein. Collections take place every day from tomorrow until Saturday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Please bring your ID document or your driver's license or passport or a copy of your confirmation to make your registration as seamless as possible. Please note, no collections are permitted on race day. 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babiza Bonke, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
So we are counting down to the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. And this morning we're in conversation with Standard Bank, one of our key city champion partners. And as you know, we're all going to be gathering on Sunday for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, which is more than a walk through Johannesburg's inner city. It's actually a celebration of community, connection and partnerships, helping shape the city's future. And Standard Bank, through its corporate citizenship initiatives, continues to invest in projects that create meaningful, lasting impact for communities in Johannesburg and beyond. So joining us now to tell us more about their work is Dr. Kirsten Greenop, who's the head of corporate citizenship at Standard Bank. Dr. Greenop, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
So every time you speak to companies, they'll tell you of the lack of interest they have in rejuvenating the city. A lot of people are sort of giving up, which is why really we're going back to walk there, because we want to reclaim the city and celebrate some of the efforts, companies like Standard Bank have made to make it a safer place again. Why is Standard Bank deeply invested in the rejuvenation of the Johannesburg's inner city?
It's Johannesburg's inner city, but also other cities. But it's about where you're located. As a citizen, it's where you're located. That's your home, right? And so where you are and where your home is, and that's actually where our head offices are as Standard Bank. We're right there in the middle of Johannesburg. We believe that cities are rejuvenated by the people who use them, the people who walk the streets, the people who use the facilities, the people who grow the city. And the more vibrancy you have there, the more growth you have in a city. So it's about people actually putting in effort and seeing where they can make a difference.
So beyond just partnering with the 702 Walk the Talk, what are some of the key initiatives Standard Bank is driving on the ground there in the CBD and beyond?
And if I can use a very, very popular pun, we don't just talk about city rejuvenation, we do walk the talk. We look at safety features in Johannesburg. Where can we assist and create more safe spaces? Where can we assist the policing, the lighting, the cleanliness, and then my personal favorite, the community. So we support things such as refurbishments of a GBV center in the middle of town. It's about the education facilities that are in town. It's about the National Children's Theatre that we support. Culture is an important part of how a city grows.
And I saw that you've dispensed these distinctive heart-shaped bins across Johannesburg. How do you want the initiative to enforce a safer and cleaner urban environment?
So those heart-shaped bins really are a symbol. So that heart being the heart of Johannesburg, something that can symbolize how people own Johannesburg, much like the art that is also on our streets in Johannesburg. It's just one way to make Johannesburg something that we all own. It's something to show up for people to easily identify, to trigger a thought in their head of ownership of Johannesburg.
And how has it been received so far?
Been very well received so far, doing well. We are rolling out. We are on a number of street corners. It's also the type of thing that what you can do is you can use it as a landmark to be able to say where you are and to give directions as it's going through. It's part of a full ecosystem. So you have to look at how the whole of Johannesburg operates together. It's like your whole body. It's the whole, it's the heart, it's the lungs, it's the kidneys, it's everything that works together.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does really take all of us, right? What's your observation and sense in terms of just corporate, just citizenship? Let me define it like that. Do you get a sense that people are joining forces with the U.S. Standard Bank to say, we see the work you're trying to do, and as citizens of the city or beyond, we want to help in that process and be active citizens like that?
So I actually cannot believe the amount of people who are involved. We couldn't have predicted the amount of partnership and collaboration that we've seen. So along with Josie My Josie, which obviously brings a lot of companies together as well, a lot of citizens, a lot of civil society organizations, so many people wanting to make a difference. So many people have not given up on Johannesburg. They want to lean in. They want to do something for Johannesburg. And the partnerships are interesting because the partnerships are where people have skills and where they have homes in Johannesburg. And they're able to make a difference in those areas and then the broader parts of Joburg. Those are the type of partnerships that we're looking for. Those are the ones that work for long term, not just once off.
And I know that you also have the Rand for Rand initiative. What is that one all about?
So Standard Bank, we've got 50,000 employees, right? So we have a huge number of employees. What we do with Rand for Rand is that we say that we know our employees want to make a difference, maybe where they are in the cities in which they live. And so we say, please do reach out to those areas, make a difference, find a cause that you can volunteer at. And if you don't donate money, we'll then match that money. So the bank will match your support. And what we're doing is we're creating more ambassadors from our people. It's about every single individual as you form together as a collective. And so any effort that we can do to bring people together, like Walk the Talk, many teams operating, they're going to be walking by themselves, but together. People going to be meeting each other for the first time. It's about that sense of community. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, this is really particularly exciting for me because then it demonstrates that shared responsibility. So Standard Bank as an organization, this is what you believe, but your employees as well. Why was it important for it to be employee-led? Was that one of the things you considered?
Very much. And it's so necessary to be employee-led. If something is imposed on you, you don't own it, right? If something is something that you develop yourself and you've seen a need for, because who knows better than the person who is living in that community what that community needs? So you're able to draw from your own community to then say, this is where I can make a difference. And a lot of the time, what stops people is that they don't know where the resources are, they don't know what incentives they've got, they don't know they may have time to be able to do it. So if you put a program in place that supports just getting rid of those logistics barriers, you can get more people involved. And the more they get involved, the more meaningful it becomes to them and the more they get other people involved.
Yeah, and is that what you're picking up from those that are involved? Like beyond just the financial contribution, what impact do you see on employees themselves by involving them in building this culture of social responsibility?
Well, I love peer pressure because the first thing that happens is they get other people involved, right? As soon as they start telling their stories, everybody wants to become involved. And I think that's a good thing. The other thing that we saw, and you could have seen this very clearly during COVID. So during COVID, what the mental health decline that happened across the nation, across globally, a lot of the time what pulled people through those mental hardships was when they donated to charity or they gave back to their own communities. That sense of meaning and purpose personally took them through. You become and you feel more connected to your communities and you feel more part of those communities. You feel more cohesive when you're actually giving away rather than thinking about only yourself.
Yeah, it's 13 minutes, going up to 13 minutes now before 11 o'clock. We're going to continue this conversation with Dr. Kirsten Greenop, who's the head of corporate citizenship at Standard Bank Group. They're one of our partners for the upcoming 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Are you going to be participating? I want to hear from you. Send me a WhatsApp voice note on 072 702 1702. Are you going to be walking? Are you doing the 5 kilometer, 8 kilometer, or have you chosen the 15 kilometer route? And how excited are you about the fact that it's taking place in the inner city? I'm particularly excited about that. We have to reclaim the inner city. And this is part of how we do that. So send your WhatsApps on 072 702 1702. What are you looking forward to most about the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk on Sunday?
Just Andalex it. Do you have a sore throat? Andalex C Oral Rinse and Spray provides targeted relief from 1 minute that lasts up to 4 hours. It reduces pain and inflammation while numbing the affected areas. It also kills viruses and bacteria that cause sore throats to help prevent serious throat infections. Andalex, South Africa's #1 choice for sore mouth and throats. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Just Andalex it. Andalex, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
It's back. It's better and it's bigger than ever. Food Lovers Market is bringing you our famous Winter Carnival with all the season's biggest deals. So come shop amazing value on everything your household needs. From fresh fruit and veg to our butcher's best cuts and all your favorite groceries. Valid from Thursday, 23 July to Sunday 2 August. Only at Food Lovers Market.
You know when your people are giving their best. Not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care. We cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is not a medical scheme and the cover is not the same. FlexiCare is underwritten by AARTO & General, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, an authorized FSP.
On Sunday, 26 July, the entire city unites for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Walk the Talk. And because Joburg is more than just a city, we'll be walking for the people. So join us and help make a difference to homelessness in the city by entering on primemediaplus.com and donating vouchers.
Donate a voucher.
Which is a cashless way to give, helping people experiencing homelessness access a hot shower, a meal, a bed, or more support. Anybody can join and everybody can donate. 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter and donate now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela.
702. Let's walk the talk.
It's 11 minutes now before 11 o'clock. Dr. Kirsten Greenop in conversation with us this morning. She's the head of corporate citizenship at Standard Bank Group. They are one of our partners for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. And they've done incredible work in the CBD. So many organizations that they support in helping rejuvenate the CBD. I've got your WhatsApps coming through, some messages as well. Koketo says, hi Clement, Standard Bank has to be commended for keeping the precinct spotless. My only wish is that other landlords impress on their tenants the need to keep the environment clean and litter-free. The city would then be rejuvenated block by block. That's a message there from Koketo, which then brings me to this question, Dr. Greenop. Like, how do you hope that initiatives like these inspire others to also get involved and give their time or resources or even rands, even expertise to these worthy causes?
I like what Koketso said, block by block. I think if you build on that block by block idea, that's something that we need to do. So look where your block is, find your block. And if your block is something that you visit, you don't have to live there. If you visit or you notice and you see something, that's where you need to lean in. So if you have expertise in things such as mobilizing communities, or you have expertise in being able to raise funds or goods to be donated, those are the types of things that actually make a huge difference. It's about finding where you can partner to get to leverage that difference. So you're able to then say, okay, so well, I know 702, I know Standard Bank, I know Josie My Josie is doing this stuff. How do I connect to them to be able to say that I am actually maybe able to make a bigger difference than what I am currently now? But I just have to stress that block by block. Take it block by block, little bit, and find your block.
Yeah, and it's going to take all of us.
All of
right?
us.
It's going to take all of us to really put our expertise, our rent, whatever you're able to put on the table to make the city a different place and rejuvenate it. So going forward then, what role do you see CSI playing in and across South Africa and, in fact, the African continent?
So this is my absolute favorite topic. And unfortunately, I know you don't have the whole afternoon to have a discussion about this. But CSI is often seen as a side or a nice to have or something that organizations do as a by the way. It's not a by the way. It's part of your organization's strategy, and that's what you're starting to see, especially in South Africa and across the African continent, is it's fundamentally linked to the business that you do. The business that you do is not just growing your business, it's growing your communities. And how can CSI make a difference to be able to grow those communities? And what you do is you find the places where you can make a difference. So what I like to also say is that when you're looking at where you can make a difference, you can go from something that is very, what I would consider short term. You know someone has a need right now, you're able to fill that need. And then you start looking at longer term. But how can I address the cause of this problem? How can I be catalytic in changing this problem and the structure of it? Consider, for example, while we're doing Walk the Talk, looking at homelessness. Where can you make a difference in homelessness, and what are the real problems behind that? And so you can address it with how you donate, how you volunteer your skills right now, how you raise money. But in the longer term, what else are you going to be doing about it? And that's where CSI and partnerships come together with things such as Walk the Talk, because it sheds a light on that, and you're then able to get involved in programs that are more systematic.
Yeah, and you're getting involved in the communities where you are in. And
they're
where
yours.
you operate, because they're yours. You're
They're
part
yours.
of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Dr. Kirsten Greenup, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for
And
having
all
me.
the best. And thank you so much for the work that you continue to do at Standard Bank to really invest in rejuvenating the inner city.
I'll see you on the street.
Yes, we'll see you on the streets on Sunday. Thank you so much. That's Dr. Kirsten Greenup, who is the head of corporate citizenship at Standard Bank Group, joining us here in studio. Are you walking? What distance are you doing? I see some of your WhatsApp voice notes that have come through. I'll play them right after the break. So, Joburg, as you know, it's time to show up for our city, as we've been saying over the last couple of weeks. On Sunday, the 26th of July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history, and experience the exciting growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner invested in the future of the city, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement helping to build a stronger, safer, and more vibrant Josie for generations to come. Register today and take part in the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
Is there a word for the feeling of a road disappearing over the horizon? Beyonding? What about the feeling you get when you see sunlight flickering through rows of trees? Sun fizzing. Anyway, some things don't like to be explained. They just ask to be felt. Like the feeling of a drive built around you. Technology that's human first makes you one with your car in a way that you can't explain. You can only feel. And there's a word for that. Mazda. Wonder awaits. At the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, snap and share any one of 5 Mazda Wonder experiences using hashtag MazdaSA to stand a chance to win a share of 50,000 Rand.
You can become a victim of a legal problem, wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
702
WhatsApp Clement
on 072
702
1702.
It's 5 minutes now before 11 o'clock.
Good morning, 702 Clement. My name is Bongani, based in Davidton. So I've been listening to your show from January till now. And then this 702 Walk the Talk event, I've entered for my running mates, my little ones, and the whole family. So I've been listening to you, and then this thing of this competition. Yes, 702, I've entered the competition, and I've won double ticket. So I'd like to say thank you so much, Mr. Major. I've been listening to you, and I like your show. Keep it up, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I hope I can see you on Sunday. Come and say hi. When we do the 702 Walk the Talk. And congratulations on winning your tickets. Ellen on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, I'm 69 years old and I'm doing the 5-kilometer route. Me and my 2 adult kids plus 2 grandkids. That's exciting, Ellen. Hope to see you in the streets. And then another one says, hi, Clement. This will be my first 702 Walk the Talk. My knee has been giving me issues, but I can't wait to explore the heart of Joburg after a long time. That's a message there from Miss Lee. And that's the thing, right? There are so many of us who have not been in the inner city for quite a long time. And there's a lot of work that's been done in the inner city. Let me tell you, I was surprised myself because we did an outside broadcast in Hillbrow. We were at the MES shelter in Hillbrow. And honestly, I was a little anxious before I got there because I've not been to the inner city in the longest time, particularly Hillbrow. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, how safe is it? But as soon as I started driving in the areas, in fact, where we were even broadcasting from, just making my way through to that part, you see how clean certain parts of the city are. And that's thanks to these organizations like Standard Bank that are investing in whether it's dealing with homelessness, whether it's dealing with cleanliness, supporting the homeless in the streets, making sure that the city is rejuvenated. And part of really doing the 702 Walk the Talk is to, again, reclaim the city, but also showcase the incredible work that's been done so far by organizations like Standard Bank. So, Ms. Lee, hope I will see you on the streets. Another one says, hi, Clement. Good morning to you. I'm very excited about Walk the Talk. I can't wait. I'll be doing the 8-kilometer route. I'm looking forward to seeing the Mazda Wonder as well and meeting all of you who will be working on the day. Well, all of us are going to be there, but not all of us are working. Or maybe it is working being there. It is probably working being there. But yeah, I'm not doing a show this year. You'll hear from Gugs Mhlungu in the morning and then probably Relebohile after Gugs. But the rest of us are going to be walking. You'll see us on the streets. And I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of you. It's going to be exciting. And if you haven't entered, what are you waiting for?
Hi, Clement. I've been doing the 702 Walk since my 30s. This year in May, I turned 70. And I'm doing the 15K. So I'm just thanking God for health, for strength. It's my thank you to God. Bye.
Yeah, hey, that's exciting. Simon on the WhatsApp line is asking, Clement, any news about the venue, the date, the time for Walk the Talk 2026 pack collection? Yeah, Simon, so by today, you've received your email about where you can collect your packs and what time exactly you can do that. But also, if you've been hearing, just pay attention to 702 throughout the day from today, because we have been sharing a lot of information about where you can go collect the packs and what time you can go do that. And if you can send someone else, what documentation are they going to require from you? So stay listening to 702 because all that information will be coming to you throughout the day. But you should also have received an email telling you about where the collection is and what times you can go and the documents required when you go to collect your race packs. It's 11 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. South Africa's inflation rate has climbed back to the upper end of the Reserve Bank's target range. Stats SA says consumer inflation has accelerated to 5% in June, up from 4.5% in the previous month. June's reading marks the highest annual inflation rate since the start of the year. Stats SA's Patrick Kelly says transport inflation accelerated largely on the back of a surge in fuel prices and an increase in the cost of operating personal transport equipment.
This is the highest inflation print since June 2024, when the rate was 5.1%. Prices rose by 0.7% on average between May and June, the same as the previous monthly increase.
Former National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula has pleaded not guilty to the 13 charges against her in the Pretoria High Court. It's the first day of her corruption case. Mapisa-Nqakula, accused of soliciting and received kickbacks of 4.5 million rand from a contractor when she was Defence Minister, has denied the allegations. Khomozo Modise has more.
While draped in a blue shawl and a black Xhosa head wrap, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula has not taken a seat in the traditional dock, but she's seated at a desk where legal counsel usually sits. Mapisa-Nqakula's alleged crimes date back to when she was Defence Minister, a position she held from 2021 to 2024. While she admits that there was construction work and upgrades done to her home while she was Minister, she's pleaded not guilty to soliciting and accepting a bribe from contractor Nombasa Nzondo Ndlovu. More than 2 years since she handed herself in at the Littleton police station, Mapisa-Nqakula's trial is officially in full swing. She started by making admissions before the court on facts that are not in dispute. Khomozo Modise, Eyewitness News at the Pretoria High Court.
A first-of-its-kind judicial tribunal is underway today to determine whether a Free State High Court judge is medically fit to remain on the bench. Judge Lipone Lekale has been on sick leave since 2018 due to an eye condition, making this the first judicial incapacity inquiry in the country's history. The outcome could determine whether the judge faces impeachment and removal from office. Mongezi Koko explains.
The tribunal will hear evidence from Free State Judge President Kagni Musi, who lodged the complaint, as well as from Judge Lipono Lekale himself. The inquiry is expected to hear from medical experts, including the ophthalmologist who has treated Lekale since 2018, while his traditional healer may also testify. The panel must decide whether Lekale's medical condition has left him incapable of performing his duties as a judge. If it finds that he is judicially incapacitated, the matter will be referred to the Judicial Service Commission, which could recommend that Parliament begin the constitutional process to remove him from office. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News.
And a British father accused of murdering his wife and 2 daughters has chosen not to apply for bail in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court. The state says Ndodana Chuma is an illegal fugitive after fleeing the United Kingdom. Chuma left the UK through Heathrow Airport 2 days before the bodies of his wife and 2 daughters were discovered in their home in Bedfordshire earlier this month. Chuma faces a separate charge of possessing an unlicensed firearm in South Africa, which he allegedly intended to use to take his own life. He was arrested last month in the Johannesburg suburb of Kensington. His lawyer, Crispin Machingura, confirmed in court this morning that his client will not be seeking bail.
We have indicated to the state that for now we are not applying for bail. We have also spoken to the state about the status of the accused person, and we have agreed for now for the date of the 27th so that we can assess our situation, Your Worship.
Gold is trading at $4,132.44 an ounce. The rand is at 16.46 to the dollar, 22.03 to the pound, 18.78 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $92.33 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the Makwa North. This is between Boysons Road and the Crown Interchange. That's due to roadworks along this route. There's also queuing traffic reported in Kayasend along Malibongo Drive approaching Northumberland Avenue.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 22 and 24 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: South Africa's inflation rate has climbed back to the upper end of the Reserve Bank's target range. Stats SA says consumer inflation accelerated to 5% in June.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Six minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you so much for staying with us here on 702. So, at 11:30, we're going to do the sharing space. And I must tell you, we've got an interesting story being shared today, so you don't want to miss that. We've got an email today, and I'll read that to you. And if the listener is asking for advice or they want to know if you've experienced something similar, please be kind enough to share some advice or share your experiences. So that's what's coming up at 11:30. But right now, we start with our Listener's Choice feature.
Burning questions,
Insightful answers
listener's choice.
with Clement Manyathela.
So Listener's Choice is an opportunity for you to co-curate the content of the show with us. And we give you an opportunity to send me an email on cm@702.co.za and tell us what you would like us to discuss on the show, because sometimes there are matters that we've not touched on because, my goodness, there's a lot going on in this country, right? So, in fact, in the world. So we can think about what we think may be of interest to you, but sometimes there are certain things that you want more information about and we haven't touched on them sufficiently. This is an opportunity for you to say, hey, look at this other matter, or look at this angle, or bring in this expert who can respond to these questions. You do that by sending us an email on cm@702.co.za. Today, we're discussing the AARTO demerit system and how it affects you. Because after, 2 decades or so, in fact, more than 2 decades of policy discussions, there have been legal challenges, pilot projects, and repeated postponements, South Africa's administrative adjudication of road traffic offences system entered its major phase on the 1st of July this year, introducing the long-awaited national demerit point system in participating municipalities. And government says the objective really here is to improve road safety by changing driver behavior, reducing repeat offences, and creating a more efficient administrative process for traffic infringement. And unlike the traditional system that you're used to, where traffic offences often end up with a payment or a non-payment of a fine, AARTO then links infringements to a driver's license record. So that's why repeated offences can accumulate demerit points, and eventually it could lead to the license suspension, and or for those habitual offenders, it could lead to cancellation. So we've invited the spokesperson for the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, Monde Mkalipi, to join us in studio, and I want to hear from you. So if you've got questions about how exactly this demerit point system is going to work, how are the points going to be allocated, what happens if you pay a fine late or you don't pay it at all, any question that you have regarding the system that's now come into play, give us a call on 011-883-0702, WhatsApp's 0727021702. Monde, thank you so much for coming through. Good morning.
Thank you, Clement. Good morning to the listeners of 702 and yourself, my chief. Thank you so much.
Why has it taken so long? I think South Africans have heard about AARTO for how long now? Nearly 30 years?
Yes, you are right. Your introduction is spot on all the way. You touched on all the points. There were I think the critical part, besides perhaps the legal challenges, Clement, were the preparatory work that we needed to do as the Road Traffic Infringement Agency, or as the authority, as we are now called from the 1st of July 2026. The preparatory work in terms of consultation with stakeholders, parliament, provincial legislatures, civil society organization in ensuring that all their concerns were addressed in the legislation, but perhaps more importantly are the tests or the pilots that we conducted in the two jurisdictions of Tshwane and in Johannesburg, where we're able to learn quite a lot of useful lessons which have prepared us for the date for the national rollout that has just started now. But among the lessons, perhaps, Clement, that we learned during this particular period where perhaps there's been a delay has been how we serve documents to the infringers because we utilized or relied very much on the post office through the use of the registered mail. But with the evolution of communication processes, now we have gravitated towards the use of electronic means of communication. So it's quite quicker and perhaps relatively cheaper to have documents served onto the road users. But also, it has been how do we standardize traffic infringement in the country? That is their management, the adjudication processes, because we have kind of like a disjointed approach where perhaps at Tokyo they've got their own system, you go to Gqeberha, their own system, Musina, Kimberley, they've got. But now what AARTO says that there should be standardization in the manner in which we manage traffic infringements in the Republic. Hence, we also have now what is called the National Contravention Register. If you commit an infringement in Gqeberha or in Musina, they feed onto the same point. If you committed an infringement in Musina and you are driving in Gqeberha, they are able to pick it up in Gqeberha that you committed an infringement that side and therefore you need to resolve it.
So, oh my goodness. Yes.
Yes.
So if I'm in Gqeberha and there's an infringement there, it adds on to my points, even though I normally drive into Johannesburg.
Yes, it feeds onto the central point. So it's also going to help, Clement, in the sense that, the country should be able to track, as you have mentioned in your intro, what are called perhaps habitual infringers on our road, so that we don't have perhaps causing some of our road users, putting our other road users in danger, driving badly in one seat and then they go to another. So, but also more importantly, it has been how do we bring in the element of expeditious adjudication on road traffic offences? Because with the old system, as you have said in your intro, that there was an old system, now AARTO is coming in as a new system. So the old system could perhaps not necessarily be able to be quick enough in terms of tracking the infringement that have been committed on the road, because the courts, that they are quite busy. But I think that has been the major issue in terms of the delay, as you have put it. But of course, the legal challenges, the High Court ruling of January 2022 that declared AARTO unconstitutional. And then we had to challenge that, and then the Concord made a ruling in July 2023 to say, let us proceed with the implementation of AARTO. So after that, we had to dust off all our plans, review our plans, go back to our stakeholders. Hence now, the President had to gazette the date of the 1st of July 2026. And the Minister of Transport has also been very much active in ensuring that, this system does get off the ground at the end of the day.
Okay. So I mentioned earlier participating municipalities. Is this going to be across the board, or by participating municipalities, is it those where you are still doing, the preliminary work and testing the system?
Yes, how it started, we started with the two jurisdictions, that is Tshwane in Johannesburg, that was in 2008, running all the tests that informed now the plan that says we need to have a phased approach instead of going for a blanket arrangement. The phased approach says now we need to have phase 2 that came into place now on the 1st of July 2026. Introduction of the system into the 60 more municipalities now. Now we have a total of 62 where the system is operational. And then we're going to proceed to phase 3, where we're going to have an additional 151. Then we would have closed all the municipalities, because in total we have 213. So we've got all that total. And then the points demerit system, Clement, is going to come in quite later, because now where we are focusing on is mainly to say how do we introduce the adjudication system into the municipalities that are coming on board now on the 1st of July 2026, because the bulk of the legislation, Clement, looks mainly at providing all these rights, options, and the obligations onto the road users to say, if perhaps you have committed an infringement, these are the ways in which you can resolve your traffic infringements, more than perhaps looking at perhaps what could be said in quotes, your punitive approach, which mainly like your points demerit system, where perhaps you get to be suspended and all that. But the legislation says here are the options: resolve your traffic infringements before the difficult part arrives, where perhaps you have enforcement orders being blocked from renewing your driving licenses. But the system gives you, for example, a period of about 2 to 3 months where it says, if committed an infringement, please come forward within the jurisdiction where you have committed an infringement, get a 50% discount within the first 32 days. If you comply with that, then the traffic infringement gets to be resolved. But also more importantly with AARTO, Clement, is the fact that AARTO provides you an opportunity to contest an infringement. Bring forward, if you feel that the infringement was unfairly issued by a traffic officer, bring forward all the evidence and say, I'm contesting that and I'm disputing it. I request that it be cancelled.
Okay.
So it's all those options that are being provided by the system.
Okay, so just to clarify, so the demerit system is already in place. So are you saying that's going to come later?
Yes, it is going to come in later, Clement, because what we have now, Clement, is these elective options that helps the road user to clear their traffic infringements before, as I'm saying, the difficult part comes, which is the points demerit system, where perhaps you get to even to be blocked and suspended from transacting on the NATs.
Could you explain how then that system, the demerit points are allocated, and for example, maybe give us an example of which offences carry the highest penalty, where now you see the cancellation of your license?
Yes, the demerit point system, Clement, it comes in as some sort of a deterrent, against a violation of traffic laws. Because how it comes in, let's perhaps look at two traffic violations or contraventions. Let's say you go through perhaps a red light, a red robot, and then perhaps you get ticketed, and then you admit guilt. If you go and make payment, this means you are admitting guilt, and then you get to be allocated, let's say, 4 demerit points for that. And then let's say, a person like yourself, let's say you are a compliant driver all the time, but you happen to make a mistake. You are a compliant driver. You make a mistake on this day. You perhaps you were rushing for something. Then you get this ticket, and then you are allocated 4 demerit points. But because generally you are a compliant driver, and then you drive well for a period of 3 months, and then 1 demerit point falls off. And then you drive well for another period of 3 months, another demerit point falls away, and then all of them are going to be disregarded in the end, because generally you are a compliant driver. But let's take like a habitual infringer, a person who breaks the law of the road now and again. Let's say this person in the first instance caught driving under the influence of alcohol, then it gets to be convicted. On conviction, 6 demerit points are going to be allocated for that, because drunken driving is not regarded necessarily just an infringement, but it's a criminal offense. So 6 demerit points get to be allocated, and then the person commits another set of infringement. Then they build up. Once they build up and reach the threshold or the cutoff point, which is 15 demerit points, that's when, if you go over and above that, and then that's when the driving license gets to be suspended. So you're given 2 opportunities to go over and above this, the 15th demerit point. If you exceed that more than 2 times, on the 3rd time, they have to go over and above that. That's when the driving license get to be cancelled, because on the first 2 occasions you get to be suspended, your driving license is suspended, and then 3rd time you exceed the set threshold. That's when the driving license gets to be disqualified and cancelled. And then the expeditions are to go through the driver rehabilitation program, and after successfully going through the driver rehabilitation program, then you're allowed back onto to start again and get the learners and go up the system again.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's 19 minutes after 11 o'clock. Andy, I'll start with your call after the break. I see your WhatsApps as well on 070 702 and 702.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
You say, for years, my family, friends, and personal sponsors have financially carried my hockey career. I've had to personally pay for almost everything to represent South Africa. Most people will be astonished to hear that, and yet for you, this has become a daily reality.
Whenever I tell them about my experiences, they're always so shocked, and I'm like, man, this is the reality that I'm actually facing. And I think there's so much talent and potential, and if we given that investment, I think we can do so much more, you know.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
There's a song that goes, "Money can't buy me love." And that's true. But then they told us all you need is love, which anybody with a mortgage will tell you most certainly is not true. Love won't pay your parking tickets or your student loan. It's also needy. It requires effort, availability, constant care. But more importantly, love requires time. And while money can't buy you love, it can certainly free up some of your time. Time to spend on the things you love, with the people you love. And if you're looking, maybe even time to find the one you love. That's why, after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do the things you love. And don't you love that about investing? Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
Uncertainty is rising, but your business still has to deliver. Production targets need to be met. And when your workforce is out of balance, the cost is immediate. Too many employees, costs climb. Too few, productivity drops. Workforce staffing helps businesses stay in control with flexible workforce solutions, deployed within 48 hours nationwide. When demand changes, your workforce can change with it. Visit workforcestaffing.co.za. Stay productive, stay flexible, stay in control.
For over 120 years, Shell has been woven into the vibrant fabric of Mzansi, fueling your engines and your dreams, powering your journeys and your potential. We believe progress is measured in the opportunities we create, the smiles we inspire, and the lives we continue to touch. We are more than just energy. We're the everyday difference in people's lives. You can always count on Shell.
Imagine what 25,000 Rand could do for your business. This week, 702 and Budget Business Insurance are giving business owners the chance to win their share of 100,000 Rand with the Budget BizBucks Bonanza on 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bigwa. Whether you own a beauty salon, a retail store, maybe you run your own guest house or any other business, this is for you. Visit primemediaplus.com and tell us the boldest move you've made in your business. Then get an obligation-free quote, business insurance quote from Budget Business Insurance. We could call you this Friday to fuel your next move. Budget Insurance is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
Burning questions.
Insightful answers.
Listener's choice.
With Clement Manyathela.
22 minutes after 11 o'clock. Let's go straight to your calls now. Andy, you are in 4 ways. Hi.
Oh, hi, Clement. Thanks very much indeed for taking my call, and welcome to your guest as well. What happened was my wife last year, she traded her car into a dealership here in 4 ways. They then on-sold it to somebody else. And then the driver for that other company came to collect the car and was driving it on the highway and was speeding. Then my wife gets an email basically that she's now got an infringement, a speeding infringement, plus 2 demerit points, even though she wasn't driving the car or didn't own the car. But we then talked to somebody at the RTIA that did acknowledge that there was a mistake. But they said, I'm sorry that there's nothing they can do about it. So basically my wife has now got 2 demerit points for a car that she didn't own anymore. And, you know, we're stuck now going forward. If she wants to change insurance companies or something, they will look in her driving record and see that she's got 2 demerit points when she wasn't driving the car. And we're just at a quandary. We just don't know what to do. Yeah. And I just wanted to let other drivers know that there is, unfortunately, there's a problem. They said that the system's not designed to delete any infringement. So, yeah, it's a serious problem, you know.
Yeah, and I guess maybe what you want to do is maybe raise a dispute. Monde, are there opportunities to dispute the demerit points, and how do you do that?
Yes, that's correct, Clement. What is important is that if perhaps the caller has got all the evidence in terms of selling the car and the collection arrangements, they can all package that arrangement, because we have got what is called AARTO 08 form, which is just a one-pager form. It's not a long form. I think your response is quite accurate, Clement, to say they've got the right to dispute that and compile a representation and send that to the RTIA, and then that particular matter can be looked at differently if all the relevant evidence is provided in terms of the records of selling of the car, who it went to, and all that.
Okay.
So it's a matter that can easily be resolved, and I think the system is really designed for that, because there is also the nomination of the driver option. If, for example, your car is being operated by someone else who is driving it, you could be a company owner employing a number of people in your company who are utilizing your vehicles. So because when the infringements or camera infringements come, they're going to be posted to the owner. Then the owner can redirect them to the people that he or she has employed.
All right, let's go to some WhatsApps now.
Morning, Clement. Ask your guest how this AARTO system is not an exercise in revenue generation. Because I'll give you one example. A move-in violation, like talking on your cell phone, is not penalized as much as a violation like not having a license on your car. Now, which one is more dangerous? The answer is simple. Talking on your cell phone is obviously more dangerous than not having a valid license on your car. I'm not saying you mustn't have a valid license on your car, but there's absolutely no thought behind this. You cannot penalize talking on your cell phone for 250 Rand or whatever it is, and the license for 750 Rand. It makes absolutely no sense, and it just lends credence to the idea that the entire AARTO system is another exercise in revenue generation.
Oh, thank you. Manda, how do you respond to that?
Well, I think we need to clarify, Clement. Thank you for the comment from the caller. Two things. The first one is that the system is mainly designed to change the behavior of the roaders, because the biggest problem that we have is road carnage that is caused by our habits on the road. So that is a very, very critical part. Of course, road users, there are going to be penalties, monetary penalties that come with that. And if perhaps other road users, they continue to pose danger on others, on law-abiding road users, they will need to be penalized, and they will have perhaps to pay for being unruly on the roads, for being habitual infringers. So there is no element of money making on the system, because they will continue to have an increase in terms of fatalities that occur on our roads. And now the country is saying here is an intervention, because the Criminal Procedure Act process, it was kind of like very much delaying in terms of dealing with infringers on the road. Hence now, this system is going to ensure that it is quicker. There's going to be an element of an enforcement order, a habitual infringer. If you fail to comply with traffic laws, you ignore your traffic violations, all the fines that are get to be posted to you, then the system, the enforcement order, is going to come in and block that particular person from utilizing our roads.
Morning, Clement. Yeah. No, this thing of free infringement, I think it's not going to work. Yes, it's going to work, but it will cause a lot of bribes. It will cause a lot of bribes, I'm telling you. Because now police will be threatening you. Say you can't pay a bribe, they will put points on you, whatever. I'm telling you, this thing is just another way of making bribe. It's nice, but we know in our roads what's happening. Thank you, Sanderson here.
Morning, 702. This is Kamo here from Johannesburg. Loving the demerit system, but I don't see it working in South Africa, where our law enforcement, particularly our traffic law enforcement, is loving and enjoying taking bribes from the citizens. So I just see the bribing culture, paying bribes, becoming worse. So I think as much as this is good to really change driving behavior and, prevent people from speeding, drinking and driving and all of that, I just don't see it being totally effective, in the sense that until you deal with the problem of the culture also of law enforcement not taking bribes. People will speed and they will now make sure that they have cash available to pay bribes because they don't want their licenses suspended and taken away. So how are they going to still deal with the problem of law enforcement taking bribes? When are they introducing these cameras that the police were, particularly in like Europe and America? Shouldn't they also put those cameras on the traffic officers and the police to also prevent the bribing culture so that we can nip this thing in the bud?
Morning, Clement. It's Mpo here in Diepkloof. Can you ask your guest how they're going to separate, like, for fleet owners and taxi owners, truck owners? How are they going to do the demerit system? Because the car is clearly not in the driver's name. Can he clarify on that, please?
All right, thank you so much. Monde?
Well, thank you very much, Clement. Let me handle the first three questions that are all linked to corruption. I think the way we have designed the system is to make sure that we eliminate any chances of corruption in the end of the day, because it's quite important that we ourselves, as motorists, as road users, we just need to put our foot down so that we are not viewed as participants in the system. Like myself, if I get stopped for a traffic violation, I really don't entertain any form of discussion. If a ticket infringement needs to be issued, it should just be issued, and then perhaps I proceed. I think that should just be the culture that we need to have and instill among ourselves as road users, because we're also bringing in electronic gadgets that are going to be used, no signing, capturing of an infringement on the roadside, and then it gets to be electronically transmitted through the contravention register. And then nomination of the driver for truck drivers, the system is there. No demerit points to the vehicles. Demerit points are going to be allocated only to the drivers. Yes. So that is the big distinction. So the owners have got an opportunity to nominate. If infringements, camera ones arrive onto them, you are a truck owner, you are a taxi owner, redirect them to the person who was driving the car at the time the infringement was committed.
All right. Monde, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Clement, for the opportunity.
You've answered some really important questions from our listeners this morning. Thank you. Monde Mkalepi, spokesperson for the Road Traffic Infringement Agency. It's 11:31. Bali has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The Madlanga Commission has heard that it was the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption that asked Member of Parliament Fadil Adams to file a complaint against senior crime intelligence officers. Head of IDEC, Andrea Johnson, is still testifying at the Commission regarding the factional battles between her unit and the SAPS's Crime Intelligence Unit. Last year, IDEC arrested the unit's boss, Dumsani Khumalo, and several of his colleagues over fraud and corruption allegations. Former National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula has pleaded not guilty to the 13 charges against her in the Pretoria High Court today. It's the first day of her corruption case. Mapisa-Nqakula is accused of soliciting and receiving kickbacks of around 4.5 million rand from a contractor when she was still Defence Minister. And South Africa's inflation rate has climbed back to the upper end of the Reserve Bank's target range. Status says consumer inflation accelerated to 5% in June, up from 4.5% in the previous month. June's reading marks the highest annual inflation rate since the start of this year. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N14 West approaching Beazodia Drive. That's due to an accident. Please be on the lookout there. It's still causing some delays while traveling in Alberton. Another accident seen along the R59 North right at the Reading interchange, also causing delays. If you're traveling in Bedfordview, queuing traffic on the N3 North approaching the Gilulis interchange due to roadworks along that route, please be on the lookout there. There's more roadworks that are taking that are causing delays. Rather, this is along the Mark 1 North approaching the Crown interchange. Please approach with care. We'll have more updates for you right at the top of the hour with Karabo Jali. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
7:02.
25 minutes now before 12 o'clock. All right, time for the Sharing Space. This is where we share our stories about whatever has happened in our lives, whether at work, whether a conversation you had with your partner during pillow talk, or maybe something that you picked up, during a board meeting and you wondering, is that really a thing? And you want to just share your story anonymously and get advice from listeners, please feel free to do so. You can send us your stories on email on cm@702.co.za. So today, we've got an email from Anonymous. I'm going to read it, and then afterwards, we take your calls and WhatsApps. Here we go. Hi, Clement and your listeners. I'm a 43-year-old woman who has been single for 2 years now. The reason for this is that I'm really struggling to find a suitable partner. I've been single for a prolonged period, for prolonged periods in my life. And before my last relationship, I was single for over 3 years. I have standards that are truly non-negotiable for me. I want a man who's financially stable. I want a man who is Christian, who does not have children and has never been married before. As you can imagine, it's very difficult to find men who tick each of these boxes. I'm now thinking about what to do next because I'm truly craving companionship. My friends have long said that I should lower my standards, and honestly, I'm finally considering it. But what if I do this and I'm still not happy? Please, can you ask your listeners if they ever have compromised on their standards when it comes to partners, and has it ever come back to haunt them, or if they compromised on their standards and they are now happy? I'm really confused and I need companionship ASAP. Regards, Anonymous. Okay, so just to recap before we go to your calls and WhatsApps, the Anonymous is 43 years old. It's a woman who has been single for 2 years now. And the reason for this, she says, it's because she's really been struggling to find a suitable partner. And that's why she's often single for a long time before she gets into a relationship, because she's got this list that she needs to tick. And this is non-negotiable for her. It's like the EFF, non-negotiable cardinal pillars, the policies of the EFF. They've got non-negotiable cardinal pillars. So this is Anonymous's non-negotiable list. You have to be financially stable. You have to be Christian. You should not have children, and you shouldn't have been married before. And Anonymous, who's 43, admits and says, look, it's very tough out there to find a man like that. That's why I'm still single 3 years after my last relationship. And she's now considering lowering her standards. And some people will often call that settling. So you're settling because the person you're looking for, you can't really find. So you end up taking the one who comes closest to what you're looking for. Have you ever done that? Because that's what Anonymous is asking you this morning. Have you ever, because she's considering it, and she wants to know, she fears that if she lowers her standards, she's probably not going to be happy in the relationship because she's compromising herself. So have you ever lowered your standards? And were you happy? Did you ever settle? Are you happy, or did it come back to haunt you? And what would you advise Anonymous to do? Stick to that hardcore, non-negotiable cardinal pillars, that list of this, my man must be like this, must have this, and do this? Or do you think that she needs to rearrange that list? Because things are different now, hey? And it's tough out there in the Mjolo world. So what do you advise Anonymous to do? She's 43. 011-883-0702. WhatsApps as well after the break. It's 22 before 12. Hydration is more than water. It's about choice, enjoyment, and flavor. That's why Akwele offers something for everyone. Crisp, still natural spring water, lively sparkling, fruity flavors, and sports drinks to boost performance. And don't miss the exciting new Mzansi mango flavor, now here to stay. Plus, look out for the bold berry blue mascot along the route. Snap a pic, tag Akwele, and you could win a year's supply of refreshments. Walk refreshed. Walk Josie with Akwele.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer we'll be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials. It's the flavor! Real reviews by real people. Dolly from Boertersig is vegetarian-ish, with a reputation to uphold. Here's what she whispered about the half chicken and a single side for $125.
Shh. What? I don't eat chicken, but for Nando's, I make the exception.
Well, good thing there's a salad on the side, for appearances. Of course. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
On Sunday, the 26th of July, the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment will be walking with you and the rest of Joburg in the 702 Josie Majosi Walk the Talk, because amazing things happen when Joburg walks together for a cleaner and safer city. So do your part by separating recyclables using designated bins and never littering or dumping waste illegally. This message was brought to you by the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment, the official environmental partner of the 702 Josie Majosi Walk the Talk. More on primemediaplus.com.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
It's 19 minutes now before 12 o'clock. Let's go straight to your calls on 011-883-0702. Letlagonolo, you're in Ramsar. Hi.
Clement, how's it?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Good. Clement, so I'm a 39-year-old, ne? I've got two kids. Different mothers. Age gap is more than 10 years of my kids. Not married, never been married. I am one of those guys who loudly say, I don't want somebody who has a child. And I've always...
Wait, you don't want someone with a child?
I don't want to date somebody with a child.
Oh, but you've got two, ne?
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's a story for another day. I've got two. Those are my standards. I don't want somebody who has a child. However, I was like that for some time until I got to a point where I noticed that the dating pool for me in that space it's now becoming very, very small. So I had to lower my standard on at least I can do with one child. However, the condition is the baby daddy must be a deadbeat or he must have passed away. I'm not dealing with another man.
Sure. Yeah, that's so tough, because then, you see, that's the expectation you have. But then someone else on the other side could say, well, I don't want a guy who's got two children with different women.
Yeah, but you see now, everyone has their own preferences when it comes to love.
True.
And we need to allow people to do that. However, we also need to be realistic. I mean, Anonymous is not being realistic. She's 43.
Yeah,
at that age, she doesn't have time anymore.
Yeah.
The dating pool is very small. And with no disrespect, I mean, she's already a red flag. At 43, no kids. She could
Why
be a red flag to somebody else.
Why is that a red flag?
She has never been married at 43.
I'm turning 36 in August, and I don't even have a kid. Is that a red flag as well in the dating world?
No. But then for a 43-year-old, for a woman, even biologically, I mean, the biology at a certain age, you will have complications when you get married, when you conceive at that age, blah, 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 blah. You know, we know women will always rush to have kids from their 30s.
There are biological, of course, consequences here or circumstances to consider. But yeah, some women just wait for the right person, or maybe they do not want the kids, or maybe they want to have kids with someone that they're married to. So it could be anything. But I got you, Lehlawanole and Ramsar. Thank you so much for your call. Muletsani, you are in Centurion. What do you think?
Hey, Clement, Clement, now I feel she's, yeah, man, I'm sort of saying she's being unrealistic. I don't want to say she's dreaming because those are her standards. But I can tell you now, Clement, that with those standards, she's never going to win. Because remember, we all have standards. And the guy that she wants must also want her. These standards are also unrealistic. So I think she needs to reconsider, especially given the fact that she's 43, she doesn't have kids, she doesn't want somebody who's got kids, who's never been married. Those are not going to happen, Clement. You know, because I think the dating pool, even if, like, look, I'm a 48-year-old male, I'm divorced, you know, but I'm finding it hard to find a partner,
Well,
you know, and I feel, yeah.
No, so sorry. Finish your point, Maletan.
No, I was just saying the dating pool, Clement, it's very, 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 very tough out there. And I feel for women it's worse because why? She's 43. If I'm a guy, say a guy my age, you know, who's financially stable, I'm gonna go. Guys have more choices than women when it comes to that. Because remember, we are the hunters. If I've got the money, I'm not gonna settle for a 43-year-old lady.
What do you settle for?
No, maybe 30 years.
30.
You know, I'm not gonna. If I'm telling you, and that's the reality.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about this with the boys to say, you know, Clement, and this is an unreal. This is a brutal truth to say. A guy with money, I could be a 60-year-old guy. I can get an 18-year-old. I can get a 19-year-old most beautiful girl. But vice versa for woman, it can't be like that. You know, so she needs to be realistic to say that the dating pool, it's not it's not in her favor, unfortunately. I'm telling you,
this
Clement.
is so it's wild. I think but thank you for your call, Moletan in Centurion. Guys, who are 43-year-olds supposed to date if 48-year-olds or 50-year-olds are busy considering or choosing 30-year-olds or 20-something-year-olds? So then, but 43, and I refuse to believe that there are men out there who are not married, who are, what's that list? Yeah, anonymous. Not married, Christian, does not have children, has never been married before. I mean, I refuse to believe that men like this don't exist who could be Anonymous's match. Or maybe Anonymous, my advice to you, maybe go to church, my sister. Isn't that where you find more people who are sort of looking for marriage and who are intentional about, okay, I want this, I want a family, I'm preserving myself. Maybe that's a place to go. I don't know. I'm just thinking maybe that's where you can go and try, Anonymous. Maybe you'll find someone who meets all of these non-negotiable cardinal pillars. What's up?
Hey, Clement, how are you? And good day to all the listeners. For the anonymous woman, my sister, 43 years, you still have that list. You have to think twice. I think you've lived long enough to understand what she wants. No, man, 43 years, you're expecting to have a man who doesn't have kids and stuff. My sister, I think you will die single. Bye-bye. Gaylord from Lynn Mayer.
Good day, Clement and the listeners. To Anonymous, you can go into a relationship with all the boxes ticked, but in the long run, in the middle of the relationship, after some time you've been together, things changed. Things change. Financial stability is not guaranteed. Nothing is permanent. Things can change.
Hi there, Clement. I will also choose to remain anonymous, but at 43, the chances of that lady meeting somebody who doesn't have kids or somebody who hasn't been married are quite slim. So probably she can try and date like 23, 24-year-old boys and hoping that they don't have kids yet.
No.
Or she can lower her standards. I think lowering her standards at 43, that's the best thing for her.
I don't know, guys. I mean, we're here. There's some of us who are 36, who've never been married, who don't have kids, who religious innocence, whichever way you define it. I believe there are people out there who are 40, who are 44, who are 48, who probably have never been married, they've never had kids, and that could be a match for Anonymous. I mean, unless maybe I don't understand the dating game out there. What are the dynamics? Is it really that hectic? Because I know my Worth Brigade come with this list of non-negotiables, and it's going to be really awkward and tricky if what they end up being with is someone who only ticks half of the non-negotiable list that they have. How do you guys navigate this in the dating world? Huh? 11 minutes before 12. Salati, Joe, Tabogo, Sonia, I'll start with you after the break.
What is special about this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is that it returns to where Walk the Talk all started, where we'll be walking in the inner city, celebrating the resurgence of the city of Johannesburg and celebrating the people who make it special. You should take part in this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk because there's so much good stuff happening in the city of Johannesburg. The city is having a moment, and it's thanks to people and organizations who never stopped believing in the power and the magic of the city. So this year, I can't wait to be at the start of this momentous 702 Walk the Talk. I haven't been to Ellis Park in many, many years. So while I might not see you on the route, I'll definitely be at the beginning to see you off as you begin your journey through the inner city. To enter the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com and we'll see you there on the 26th of July.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Centre becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Take control of your equipment, your billing, and your revenue with PumaTech. Built for all sized businesses in rental, construction, scaffolding, plant hire, and mining. PumaTech gives you real-time, on-site visibility of everything. Your equipment, your materials, across sites, yards, and branches. Simplify stock control, reduce losses, and manage your billing. All in one powerful, locally built platform. PumaTech. Know where everything is.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
8 minutes before 12 o'clock. Straight to your call. Sonia, you're calling from Sandton. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Sure.
I'm not here to judge whether you should or should not lower your standards. I just want to tell Anonymous that those were exactly my 3 non-negotiables.
Mm-hmm.
And at 42, I met someone with exactly the list I wanted.
Really?
And all my friends said to me, "You're never going to get it. You're never going to get it." And I did. I wasn't prepared to settle for less. I wasn't going to sell myself short. I was going to be true to myself. We've been together for 8 years. Also a professional at the same intellectual level. Best friends. Anonymous, it was worth the wait.
Wow.
There are people out there with exactly your same norms and standards. And Clement, I don't look back. I'm glad I waited. It was worth the wait.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that, Sonia, because I've just been thinking, okay, how old is your person, Sonia?
My person is 2 years my senior, so
Okay.
he's 2 years older than I am.
I was concerned.
So he also waited.
Okay.
And he's also professional, and he also didn't want someone with kids.
Where did you guys meet,
So-
Sonia? Maybe Anonymous can try that place. Is it Tinder? Is it a
No, definitely not on a website.
Okay.
I was a consultant,
Yeah.
and we through other people. We met through other people.
Okay, perfect. And those ones are the ones that really normally work best. Okay, I'm glad to hear that Sonia has waited. She was 43 when she met her perfect man who meets all of the expectations and ticks the list that Sonia had. So Anonymous, there's some hope for you. Let's go to Salati, who is in Joburg. Salati, hi.
Clement, hello.
Hi.
Whoop, Sonia.
Hey, Sonia
It
is
is possible. I've got two things to say. So to your first caller about the gentleman with the two kids.
Yeah.
There's doctors who are called fetal specialists, and to all the guys listening, fetal specialists, you may be 43 anonymous, but your eggs in your body, girl, can be those of a 16 or an 18-year-old. So keep that body until you find the right person. So do not rush. And the second thing is, for the love of God, do not, under any circumstances, like Sonia, compromise or lower your standards. Reason I'm saying that is the moment you lower your standards, you compromise yourself. There's a saying in Sesotho, Kistswana, man. We can't be picking cherry. You'll have problems. So stick to your standards. Don't lower them. There's hope out there. There's men that are looking for exactly what
you have. Are you partnered with Salati?
Oh yes, I'm married with 3 beautiful kids.
And that's a perfect man. You didn't settle.
Oh, I did not settle.
Okay.
I did not settle. I've never settled because I'm blessed to say that my premise was I looked at how my dad treated my mother. I looked at how my dad, who raised girls, treated us as women in the house.
Oh, love that. Okay. Salati, thank you so much for that. So there's some hope. People wait and they eventually get what they're looking for. Hey?
Clement, how's it, my brother? Anonymous here. Nice show as always. To Anonymous, you don't chop and choose when you're looking for love. You compromise and you settle, you see. I mean, I'm sure we all want ourselves a Beyonce, but we ended up with a Mariah Carey. You get what I'm saying? So it works like that. Love is natural, and it should be seamless to love someone. Should be seamless. You don't need to put an additional effort. Everything should just come as natural and effortless. So if you're going to go with that long list of yours, then you're not going to find love. You're going to find compatibility, but not love.
Clement, hey, Anonymous, the things she's asking for, and at her age, they are very almost impossible. But because also she's a woman, you know, she's not the one who's supposed to do the proposing. You must expect men to come to that. And not all men who fit those standards are going to approach her. Even those who fit the standards won't approach her. You know, for men, they have got their own standards. So, it's a tricky party. It's very tricky.
Yeah. Hey, Teboho, you're in Soweto. Quickly. Good morning.
Yes, morning, Clement.
Sure.
Well, look, I just wanted to say to Anonymous, some of us are now divorced, married at a very young age. Now 4 years single, not desperate for in a relationship. If she's looking for someone, I'm not sure if she'll find any. But one thing for sure, I'm going to tell her that some of us, I don't drink, I've never touched alcohol, I don't smoke. If she's looking for marriage, if she's still looking for kids, I'm definitely not someone that she's looking for, because I'm not intending to have any kids anymore. My kids are teen adults, and I'm not intending to start buying Pampers ever again.
Those are your standards, yeah. Teboho, thank you so much. I think Teboho is also 50 years old. And you see, that's the tricky part. If a 50-year-old says, I've been married before, I've had kids before, I don't want them, and then they come and date you, and you still want kids, you want to get married, that gets complicated. And then the 45, 48-year-olds are telling you, well, we are going to date the 30-something-year-olds. It's so tricky, eh?
Looking to save money on your business insurance? Switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Niku from the Gas Mart.
I was with my previous insurer for 9 years before switching to OUTsurance Business Insurance. I'm very happy with my premiums at the moment. I wish we switched sooner to OUTsurance Business Insurance.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Some people wait for green lights. You create your own right of way. You move to your own rhythm. Calmly. No permission. Just intuition. That's why you need a car that matches your energy. Introducing the all-new Aura 5 SUV, a compact SUV that's designed for your next move, for every kind of you. Visit gwm.co.za to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Coming up next, the midday report with Mendy Wiener. Mendy, what are we looking at today? Good morning.
So Andrea Johnson on the stand today at the Madlanga Commission, the head of IDAC. She has made certain concessions about the Fadil Adams Section 27 certificate. So we'll find out about that. We'll get the latest from the Kat Matlala attempted murder trial. There's so much going on. Suspended organised crime cop Fanny Nkosi's back in court, and also Viva Mapisa Nkakula's in court. The British fugitive and murder accused also in court. Extradition looming there. And then a huge inflation shocker. Numbers out a short while ago. Up to 5% for July.
That's the midday report. Up next with Mendy Wiener. Thank you for listening to the show. We're back tomorrow between 9 and 12. Stay listening to 702 throughout the day and have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The Madlanga Commission has been told that it was the investigating directorate against corruption that asked Member of Parliament Fadil Adams to file a complaint against senior crime intelligence officers. Head of IDAC, Andrea Johnson, has been testifying at the Commission